cuffs are off, man.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up, friends? Daniel Dopp here from the Fantasy Focused Football Podcast over on ESPN.
It's Fabs here, Michael Fabiano from Sports Illustrated.
You know who you can trust if you've got some questions about your fantasy squad?
Want to check out a cool show on YouTube that'll help you get ready for the fantasy football season?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network. If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Head on over to YouTube. Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network because they're doing everything they can to make you a better fantasy player.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
So go and roll your sleeves up. Yeah, go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting down cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right cause I get.
What up, YouTube? What up, everybody? Welcome in. Thanks for spending some of your Friday night with us today. So, without further ado, it's Friday Night Mocks. You know the drill. If you're new, every Friday we run some mock drafts. We're degenerates. We want to solve the my personal favorite Rubik's Cube. That is the draft board every single year. Got a fun friend of mine. Love his Discord, love his community. One of the greatest league managers. I think we'll have to talk about it a little bit. But someone who I certainly hope is in the running for top spot of Commissioner of the Year. My good friend, you might know him on Sleeper as Pickadelphia. But welcome into the show, my friend Alec, aka Pickadelphia. How you doing, brother?
What is good, football fans? I am happy to be here. Fly, Eagles, fly, baby, defending champions. I am happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me on to the show. I'm more than happy to see what all of the fine people over here at your wonderful community can do for fantasy football. So let's play some football, baby. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Awesome. Well, like most mock drafts, things have already gotten a little bit crazy because Phil, my counterpart over here, he drew the 101, and I think he's actually in the wrong mock since he's joining us a little bit later on. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of production here, either that or we're just gonna auto the 101 for a little bit. Maybe we'll pick. Maybe we'll just co-pick that. You know what? Let's do it. We're gonna co-pick the draft.
I think he should get a kicker because everybody knows you should always get your kicker in the first round.
I think so, man. All right. Well, if he can make any picks, he'll be in there. But I could just pause the draft to make his picks for him. So we'll have some fun with it. But hey, real quick before we get rolling, we want to help everyone if they don't know, if they're new to the show. Who are you? What do you have going on? What's going on in your life? What do you do in the fantasy community?
Oh, nothing at all. All I simply do is I run a nice little small network on a good old Discord. I think maybe you have heard of it, especially if you're like a gamer, but I do it for fantasy football. So my name is Alec, or Pickadelphia, as you see there in the fancy little title there. So I run this network, and the goal of it is to connect people together in the community where people who make content can collaborate like you and I do. Where people who are enthusiasts who just want to improve their game or have certain questions they want to ask people who are really, deep in the trenches into this wonderful community that we have called fantasy football. Or simply put, they just have maybe they're commissioners and they want to ask for some simple advice on, hey, how do I make my leagues more engaging? Or how do I make things more fun? Or maybe you have a niche that barely anyone talks about. That's the purpose of this Discord server, of this network that I provide for people. You can have everything you want, literally a touch of your fingertips there, and it's 100% free. Literally, you can go in there, have a great time with us, chat, ask your questions, or if you're someone who wants to get into content creation, you can ask questions there. If you got a niche question like me, I'm the return specialist, so you can ask me anything about return yards, boom, money. Commissioning a league, boom, money. I am a big believer in fantasy football and bringing the community together. I met Scott Fishbowl just the other week over in Philly, so that was a wonderful experience to meet him. He's such a great guy, and who knows, maybe in the future him and I can work together. But yeah, that's kind of about me. I've been doing fantasy football for over 10 years, and I love every second of it. Even when my players underperform and I just want to throw my phone across the wall, to the wall and break in a million pieces, happens. But I don't do that because phones are expensive. So that's me in a nutshell. Oh, and I'm an Eagles fan.
Hey, keep drafting the Eagles players. You're probably going to be all right. Let's pull the draft board here, shall we? There we go. Let me get a little production here. Get ourselves get the logo out of there. All right. No offense, underdog. Need some draft board space here. All right. Let's get this draft underway. I got some drafters that are antsy. And we're going to start with Phil, who I don't think can actually make it into this draft. So like we said, we are going to crowdsource this. So guys in the comments, guys and gals, anyone in between. Okay, Phil hopped in. So he's going to make a couple picks. There will be, if he's getting close to timing out, I'm just going to pause it and we're going to give him the spiciest draft you have ever seen. Is going to be lit. So let's get into it. So quick format at the top. This is a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, tight end, double flex. So essentially a 1 quarterback, start 9 PPR. Ooh, we're going to draft as if we had an IR spot. So your, all your folks, I think most leagues should have an IR spot. I like it. I think it adds an element to draft strategy. So we're going to draft it. We got 5 bench, but draft as if you have an IR spot, just to elevate those particular picks a little bit more. And no tight end premium for this one. Occasionally we might pause on our host's pick over here just a little bit to kind of talk you through our thoughts for those in YouTube land or just watching the stream. Oh, Brocal will be back. He's queued up at least. He's a complete degenerate in the mocking community for sure.
I have my queue already set up of where I'm predicting where players will land in this, and that's why it's always fun. I actually recommend that you guys do as many mocks as you possibly can, because at some point you'll start getting so comfortable with it that you'll start actually making little prediction, cues, right? Okay, this guy will fall. This guy has a X amount % chance of falling to me, so we'll do that, and yada yada. So that's how I kind of have my draft set up. So far I have looks like 3 guys left, and it looks like I am 2 picks away. So this will be good for me.
Dr. Andrew over here, how you doing, my man? He was a perennial Scott Fish Bowl attendee, live drafter. Got to meet this wonderful human being at Scott Fish Live Chicago. For y'all that don't know him, one of the nicest people I've ever met. Really a cool dude. So glad to be mocking with you today, my friend. How you doing?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So you're on the clock. So I'm generally curious, what kind of draft strategy do you like to try to go into when the board is falling the way it is? As you see, it's pretty even with running backs and wide receivers being taken. It's almost it's a 50-50 split right now. We have 5 and 5.
Well, I'm going to make a pick, and then I'm kind of between 2 here. This really, I'm either going Puka or Achan. I think I'm going to push the build and go Puka here. The main consideration here is at the start of the year, I was really liking more of a dual, either hero RB or dual elite RB, something along those lines. I liked the wide receiver 2s that I could get a little bit later on. I didn't want to draft a ton of running backs, but I know there was so much hype with the rookies, and last year a lot of the dead zone really, really hit. This fell fantastically because I still get Devon Achan, who was the other person in consideration. So looks like it went well for me. But really just to finish that point there, I was starting a little more running back heavy. I just loved the elites at the top, and I felt like there was some falling value. The more I draft, the more I'm falling in love with some of the dead zone picks a little bit. So in my mock preparation, I'm forcing more 0 RB builds just to see how far I can push back running back, to see how the ranges kind of feel, how much I can box myself out and get screwed, how much I'm like, if you go 2 RB heavy and value falls to you, it's a mistake to take it. So I'm going to push that way a little bit and see how we do. What about you? What would you have done? Close to the turn.
So this to me, actually, the whole thing I'm doing, because I'm so comfortable with these mocks, because I treat mock like how I would an actual league draft. I think of, because I'm watching the way that these people are mocking. excellent people that we got here, by the way. And a lot of them are kind of following this, like, what a typical draft will actually realistically look like, where you have a few picks are like, whoa, that's crazy. He went that early. And then the rest of the board follows you. But I'm still sticking with the tried and true strategy that has won me the last 3 years in multiple leagues, which is what I'm going to be showcasing today. I think that this will be a special treat, where I'm going with the balanced approach. And I'm purposely going to do that, where the goal is you look at how every year the way that ADP, ECR, all that stuff is falling into place. You then mimic whatever that's showing you into a formulated draft strategy that can be tried and true. For example, last year, people won a lot of money, thousands of dollars doing a balanced approach, which I've been preaching. Balanced strategy is the real best strategy overall if you're playing in a normal like PPR league or even a tight end premium league, or even if you just play Superflex. If it's a combination of all three, then it gets a little bit interesting as far as how to really count as balance goes. So for me, how that looks is simple because it's normal PPR. You get 2 stud running backs who can easily both finish inside top 10, and you want to get 2 solid wide receivers unless a certain value in QB falls to you directly in the 3rd or the 4th round that you just can't live without. Because in this year, the way that running backs have been falling, it's usually after the first 3 rounds. It's very hard to find true great value in running back that you can feel confident enough to say, yeah, he'll totally finish as potential RB, like 1 to 12. Totally. It's very hard to find that. So it's better to go with that balance, like I said, 2 running backs than 2 wide receivers, or 2 running backs, a top wide receiver. And if the QB that you really love and can't live without is still there, get him in the 4th round. If you really want to go for that balanced approach, you've got so many situational advantages that you'll be fine. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going with, just to showcase how that will look like. And we'll see how my balanced team actually looks and performs.
Okay. Let me play. I'm gonna let you make your pick here. But while you're making your pick, I'll say I'm probably gonna play devil's advocate here a little bit, and I'm gonna be looking for later on running back value to see if starting RB. We're getting back to the balance with love that Devontae pick. Sad part is Devontae could be just as good as Puka, and you got him in the 3rd round. So we'll see how we like that. I guess we'll keep talking here in a little bit. Not taking quarterback this early, looking at running back, just looking at the range, looking at wide receiver. I think I like wide receiver a little bit. I think this is a flatter tier at running back. Early round went a little bit heavy. I'm going to go ahead and take a year 2 breakout candidate that I've got some decent faith in. I think someone
right
will
now,
finish.
There is still some solid running backs here that if someone who went heavy on the wide receiver build, you're going to be pretty happy when the value falls to you. Like I'm looking at Vike over there. I'm looking at Wilson over there. I can see some really good running back value falling to one of those 2 by the time that their pick comes up. Because I already know who I'm picking because he's still there, and I doubt anyone's going to pick him.
Ooh, we'll have to see. Streamers curse. You do some shows too. I've kind of enjoyed the. Oh wow, am I literally going to auto draft Josh Allen? All right, I forgot I was on the clock. So we're going to take Allen. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to stick with it. I would never make that pick, but we're gonna stick with it. That's what I was literally talking about. Don't stream and draft. Things get crazy, and we full on auto picked while on the clock. So all right, here we go. We're going to force early QB, which is interesting since I'm a late QB guy. I've been preaching it. I've been taking QB with my actual last pick of the draft. So let's see how bad we like 4th round Allen Lamar. We'll kind of pop it out there and see how we like it.
We will see. But I believe Vike or Wilson's going to end up getting either Hubbard or Connor or Mixon or taking the upside swing on Henderson. One of those 3 are going to go. And if not 2 of them.
I was thinking, how do you feel about the rookie spiciness? Hendy and Caleb versus it's usually Hendy and Caleb versus your aging veterans and Connor. Maybe Demont went here, but they're kind of all in the same range. Are you leaning towards the vets with a guaranteed role? Do you like the upside in the rookies? Are you leaning one way or another in the similar range?
to put it very simply, depending on the situation that those vets are in, I most of the time love to lean towards the rookies because there's something about unproven value that when you take that shot, I mean, just look at the rest of the roster. If let's say by round 5, let's just hypothetically pretend that I got, let's say someone like RJ Harvey, for example. I'm not going to get him there most likely, but let's just pretend that he was there. With the current team that I've built, you can take a shot on that. If you're building a well-constructed roster, you can take shots on rookies, and you'll be pleasantly surprised how many of them actually land for you. So I will gladly, depending on their situation, Caleb Johnson, if he were to fall to a certain point, I mean, you got to take him. Because if he turns out to be year 1 Najee Harris, then you got yourself a very quality back. And hopefully not every year after Najee Harris, where the efficiency went down the toilet like crazy. But that's how I kind of look at that. And there are certain rookies that I just love, and same with quarterbacks too. There are certain quarterbacks that I was absolutely loved, just like last year. Big fan of Bo Nix, Jane Daniels. Did a report on both of them. People thought I was crazy when I said Bo Nix and Jane Daniels aren't that far apart as far as from like a passing standpoint. Obviously, for a rushing standpoint, Daniels is clearly way more superior. And I said, wouldn't be surprised if they both end up being the QB 1 and 2 from the draft, and they are. It's crazy, Even when we look at sets, I think Colin Cowherd said something about Bo Nix had like outperformed passing yards or something by than Jane Daniels, or by per attempt or something like that. He had more. He said something like that on his show, and I was like, really? I was like, damn.
Coward was really into Nix. He was he's great Grandpa Coward, right? So he's like, I like my quarterbacks to have thrown a few more passes in college. I know he was on that for a while. He said Bo Nix is an adult. He's thrown a bunch of passes, and he's going to a coach that knows how to use a savvy pro, because the quarterbacks are coming out younger and younger, and we've seen some swings and misses when they haven't played enough yet. So,
ooh. Depending on if this guy falls to me or not.
Oh, it's a close one, huh?
Well, here's the thing. I could play risky and just say, hey, I'll happily take him in the 6th if he's there, or I can guarantee him now after Duarte's pick, which I can do that. But if only Judkins didn't get freaking arrested, bro. God damn it, Judkins. You would have been so great here, too. That's what I was saying earlier. It's like enrages me because this would be perfect to take him. But no, he just had to go get himself in trouble, didn't he? You know what? That's fine. There's a lot of great value here. Let's just get the guy who seems to be like the pinnacle of a wide receiver too, despite having a backfield. There we go. Got him just in the nick of time while I was talking. Jordan Addison. I enjoy Jordan Addison because he's proven himself to be a very competent wide receiver too, to be trusted by fantasy managers. And I've said that from year 1. I get that Jettis is there, and now they have essentially a rookie quarterback. Really, that's what he is. But I think that Vikings team can really show up and show out. And I think Addison, fully healthy Addison, can continue to finish as like a wide receiver 20, upside wide receiver 15 kind of thing if Jettis misses significant time. So I'm happy with that as a wide receiver 3 this late anyways. And holy crap, the guy might actually fall to me. Unless you want to snipe him.
We'll see. So I'm going running back here. I'm between Pacheco and Caleb Johnson here. But I already have Worthy. So with that being said, that's kind of the tiebreaker for me. I'm going to go ahead and take Caleb Johnson. I really am kind of getting steamed up into the possibility that Caleb Johnson is going to be a real problem on that team, and he's just going to get a billion touches. And
it's crazy because I actually do want to take running back here, but according to balanced strategy, I got to take the best value available, and that right now would be Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, me autoing into and keeping Josh Allen at 4-2, and then seeing just not a quarterback for the entire 5th round, and then Jaden at 6-4. Yeah, that's why I don't take early quarterback this year, because the value you can get in 6th and 7th is kind of. I mean, this 6th round Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels is kind of insane.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I like that. That's it's one of those, like, you don't have to look there. If you stay balanced, you can just rip the falling value. That's typically how I draft as well. I want the 5, 6, 7. I want to catch all the falling value.
I also want to quickly give a nice 2 shout outs. One to Doc Watson over here, because I actually like the way that he did similar build to how I was doing, just kind of like in a reverse order. He went 3 wide receivers early, and those are all amazing quality wide receivers. And then he got his value running backs later, and Walker's a perfect pinnacle example of a guy who should be an RB1, but really always puts up RB2 overall numbers, which is perfectly fine. If you get a consistent, reliable running back squad, then having your stars just outperform everybody else is just way more important. So I like that
Walker this year. I just, it's one of those things. I have a little notebook where, and I put this into a computer. I'm not that old school, but it sounds so much cooler to say I've got a notebook, because I really do, because I don't have a spreadsheet out when I'm watching the games, where I'll put like early, mid, and late season observations. I always go back to them. I go back to my early season observations to be like, hey, as a market of fantasy football players, was there an overwhelming feeling we all had at one point in the season and forgot about it and leaned far too into the news narrative, the analyst narrative, which is kind of an echo chamber if you're watching the TV shows, right? Like, I feel like the FF analyst community is significantly better than the actual NFL broadcasting community. Just not throwing too much shade. I like plenty of them. I'm just saying I think we do our homework better and have more original thoughts than they in their dev team. But one of my thoughts was Ken Walker looks better than Breece Hall. Remember when they got drafted, they were closer together than they were far apart, right? Mm-hmm. And that's how we drafted him their rookie season. Ken Walker was real close behind Breece Hall in a lot of mocks for that rookie year. He came out on fire, was getting 6-7 targets. You know, I mean, he was top 5 in the NFL in target share for a running back, if not higher, and was just absolutely ridiculous. And it was injuries that opened the door for Charbonnet to do his thing. But Charbonnet did absolutely nothing while Ken Walker was doing his thing, and he looked like one of the best running backs we've seen in the NFL. Vintage. He's still ridiculously young, by the way, too. So you know, doing all that at his age, never had a real crazy off the field issue as far as I'm aware. So Ken Walker's one of those. If he doesn't get injured, I'm not saying he's a league winner, but he feels like he is mispriced because everyone assumes something will happen. But the year nothing happened to McCaffrey, you won your league. I think Walker is a light version of that this year, in my opinion.
You know what? You gotta call your shots, and I love that. Just like how, like I said, I was actually hoping this other guy that I was planning to take, and Tracy was already going to go, but the fact that he fell to me, I said, sure, why not? People seem down on Tracy. And I think that that's really just a big mistake. Tracy is going to be the starting back there. Scatterboo does not scare me in the slightest. All right. I think Scatterboo, he is a raw prospect that needs time to really earn a really big share. So until then, Tracy's going to be fine. Now, if Tracy has a case of the Butterfingers, like several times over, then yeah, Scatterboo is going to eat into that workload like crazy. But I just don't see that being really a big issue there. So the fact that I got 3 starting running backs, I really enjoy that, especially late as it is. Because really who I wanted, I think you're going to take. I think you're going to take him here.
Who do you think I'm going to take? Because I'm just going to I'm going to talk. I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually going to pause the clock because I'm running this thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do.
Well, see, right. I don't want to say nothing because then Doc might take him if you don't. So I'm going
to take a thing here. Okay. So chat, those drafting, I'm just going to throw it out here. I'm going to pickle. For the first time, I was going to take an early tight end, and I was going to go Travis Kelce, but I have Worthy on the team. Kelce feels like a stupid value here with Rice and everything. I just can't. I don't know if I can do it. I honestly don't believe in him this year.
Do it.
This is, you know, I'm just going to have to get crazy. We're not going to do that, though. We are going to just take all my guys. This is the most guy draft you're ever going to see. And the reason I'm reaching down to Egbuka, by the way, did you see the news on Chris Godwin?
Man, y'all just leave both of them there. Godwin, I did not look at the recent news. Gosh darn it, guys. You just, you know what?
Did you want Najee or you?
No, just that both my guys fell to me because I actually had Kelce slated for the 8th round pick. So I was expecting this other guy not to be there. But I'll pick the other guy because his upside is just way too good.
Diggs, it was going to be Diggs or Egbuka for me, and him missing the pup and being okay. I was like, ooh, this could be a thing. Oh, wait a minute.
But now,
chat definitely not ignoring you. Thank you, Vike. But anyone catch the camp highlights that mean nothing? Y'all see Ant throwing some passes. He looked okay. He looked all right down there. Yeah, I'm not getting sniped on Josh Downs ever again. Everyone in this draft knows me and knows I will take Josh Downs as like a 3rd round pick at this point, and they all just take him earlier and earlier. So funny. I'm not doing it. I'm doing the I will reach anchors down into ADP. But Egbuka, man, Egbuka is my absolute dude. I thought it was too spicy. It was one of those too hot to handle takes earlier. Rafi, I know you're listening here. I said the chances that Egbuka is just straight up the wide receiver 2 for a Baker-led offense, it's pretty real. It's pretty real that it could happen by week 3. And I meant that with a kind of healthy Chris Godwin, not a full healthy Chris Godwin, but I'm kind of getting back to it. I just think Egbuka is the most coaches ready, NFL ready wide receiver out there. Super talented, steps into a great situation already. And then we get news that Godwin had a second procedure in the offseason. The team knew about it. Looks like the team definitely planned the Egbuka pick because Godwin was going to take longer to get back into it. I mean, he's going to open the year with Godwin too injured to be the actual 2. He's going to be the 2 over McMillan just because everybody in the room knows their different talent levels. No offense to McMillan, who I'm high on. I liked him quite a bit. But my goodness, he's a Mike Evans hamstring away from being a literal wide receiver 1 for a laser-led offense. I mean, there's realistic pathways where Egbuka is not just a top 24 wide receiver, but is even better on that offense. I could see it. I'm getting spicier with the take, but I'm kind of painting the narrative that you can reach for Egbuka, and I reached for him past Diggs, which is the better objective pick. Let me say that, right? We're mocking, right? So I got to pick a player if I'm going to give a take out of, right? Diggs is the better pick, but I see a pathway where Egbuka gets just a ridiculous amount of work in that offense.
No. You take your guys, especially around these rounds here. That's when you start seeing the value picks. This is where you really craft that team's depth, and this will determine whether or not you have to make trades, desperately make trades halfway through the season, or certain waiver wire pickups, and you're hoping to God that someone drops somebody that you want. So I guess depending on the strategy you're going for, for example, Lord over here at the 102, he's taking upside swings on both Scadaboo and Judkins. He's hoping Judkins doesn't end up having such severe issue, and that Scadaboo, will take that role from Tracy. And it's a very there's a possibility there. Or I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not going to say that he's an idiot for doing that. No, he's taking his depth in running back because he knows halfway through the season, where some running back's going to get hurt, someone's going to have to do a trade. And if someone has a great running back room or running back depth that they want, they're going to have to pay a pretty penny, And so that's why here going to 9th round and further, these are your guys that you want because there's still great wide receivers here and still great tight ends here. So, the running back room really comes down to which backup do you trust the most? And I could very well do that, but according to the balanced approach, my next pick is going to have to be a tight end. So that's what a balanced approach would tell me. So that's what it's going to be.
Oh, no, you're going to snipe one of my guys here for sure, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I was thinking tight end here too. Go ahead, think through your pick here, man. They're just clearing my queue out, literally in a row. Oh, yeah. I wanted Dobbins. I wanted Spears. I knew Reed and Pittman weren't going to make it back to me. Mooney, I think, needs to fall a little since he's missed all training camp. But, love the Ingram pick. I love this whole range. If this was a startup, and obviously it's not a startup, I would just want to trade for everything. No, not grabbing Loveland. Loveland's not a redraft pick for me. He's all dynasty. I actually don't like Loveland in redraft straight up. I am going to take a tight end that I think is massively underrated. And, guys, Cedric Tillman is going to miss all the preseason, I think. So David Njoku, the actual number 1 pass catcher for the abysmal. They lost Judkins for some period of time. They lost Tillman. I think Njoku is going to be a top 5 tight end this year.
Yeah, Njoku and then Jerry Jeudy. As much as I'm not the biggest Jerry Jeudy fan, however, those two are going to eat up all those targets, So, and then Ford will probably get the number 3 or Samson, whichever one ends up taking that prize role. Like I tell people, when you're picking in a situation where there's not a true clear-cut running back 1 because of Judkins' situation, then you're planning, okay, if I get Ford, I almost feel instinctively inclined to at some point get Samson as that as in X amount of weeks I expect Ford to start before Samson takes over, yada, yada, yada kind of thing. And interesting that you went for 2 tight ends, but hey, that's perfectly fine. Oh, I'm on the clock. Perfect. Let me see.
Make the pick here. I'll throw this out there. My tight end pick here is I do it more often every single year, and it's very much a draft to trade play. I feel like every year some people go later and later tight ends, or they go middling tight end and they reached for Kincaid, and then Kincaid did Kincaid things, right? Or Dak gets hurt and Ferguson is tied to his quarterback, right? By the way, love Ferguson. Just someone take him soon. The whole point for me is early on, I figured out, hey, if I just draft a late stud tight end that I know is undervalued, in addition to like just as a pure, like I don't need him, but someone else is going to have an injury or a bad tight end, or just know their team is gorgeous outside of one glaring problem. And I'm going to have this immediate value week 1 where I can immediately trade my tight end that got 9 targets that they weren't expecting, flip them really quickly for, in this build, I'm going to need running back, right? I'm immediately going to be hitting up Fanta saying, hey, whatever you end up with at tight end, if it ain't great, let me grab one of these upside picks that you took a little bit earlier, right? Is there a chance I can grab a Brian Robinson that has an okay, not great week? Maybe Eckler gets a little more run in the passing game than we'd like, and he doesn't score a touchdown. The chances that I can flip Warren for a running back or position of need with some of these running backs that went earlier, but maybe don't have tight end luck. Yeah, by the way, Mahomes 10-10. I took Allen 6 rounds earlier. This officially nailed the coffin, guys. Early quarterback is just a stone cold mistake. Now this is a mock draft, and it's a super competitive mock draft. Every one of these guys, you've seen them in plenty of your chat too. I think our Discord has a lot of the same folks. These guys are out here doing it all the time. I think in real money leagues, you see quarterback go up a little bit. Now, if I were in a league with these guys, it wouldn't go up at all. I mean, they're too sharp. But I think I took Justin Fields with the last pick of my draft. One of these drafts, I think Jordan Love went undrafted, like legitimately undrafted. I don't see how it's not just a pure mistake to go with quarterback in the first, I don't know, 5 rounds. It feels like after that, there's like a flat tier where it's like you could have picked a player in the 6th. You could have also wheeled him in the 7th. So it's like a pick order situation. But I don't know.
That's an interesting one for me. But in theory, I'd rather get my other boy. So I'll wait for that and I'll get something.
Because are you brave enough to talk about who you might want to pick? You're going to get stream sniped a little bit, but
that's fine. That's fine. Actually, unfortunately, where we're at in the draft, there's like maybe like one wide receiver that I genuinely would want given the scoring setup. But I'm also fine with taking more upside swings on certain running backs. So you know what? Let's go for let's make our first spicy pick, because normally here I would go with Trey Benson, but let's go with Samson, because hey, if Judkins is truly out, then let's trust our boy Samson to work his way in there with Ford, and then if he ends up doing better than Ford, then he'll be the starting back, and then they'll contemplate: do we start Judkins when he's back from suspension, or do we start Samson, or do we split the carries? Which means Ford will go back to his role at being a punt returner.
And he's solid at that. Here's where I just have to take all the running backs at this point. By the way, Vike, yeah, dude, I'm super in on Pittman this year for sure. He falls in that category of injury prone, but like they're NFL players. By definition, they're injury prone. If he's not injured and they have a better than average season, or better than they're expecting, Pittman is a screaming value. I mean, we know we love Downs, but Pittman, fantastic. And honestly, the fact that Pittman actually goes after Downs at this point, I completely agree with you, Vike. I love it. Already talked about Loveland. Uno Gas, one of my favorite drafters. Very, very sharp. Evan or Spears, or Ingram or Spears for you. Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
Give me a take on this. Andrew, he's a good buddy of ours, Andrew Loophole. He's saying it's going to be Flacco. I'm with that. I'm completely with you. Have to keep the players in the room happy, and I think he's the only quarterback that'll do it. What do you think about the Browns QB carousel? Just who do you think ends up? Who do you think starts quarterback, and does it change midseason for you?
So I think it will change actually, but here's what I think: Flacco will start the year. It makes the most sense, okay? Because he has proven on that team to be, pretty reliable. Because it wasn't too long ago, we seen Flacco take teams to the playoffs over their starters, So I think that he'll start the year, but then they're gonna work in both their rookies to truly see who they want. And wow, these guys are both still there. Let's just take the upside swing on a guy that showed up last year. Let's go for Kareem Hunt.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I like that. Kareem Hunt feels like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. It's who do you, they feel like they're both picks that I like in a range where I'm just really happy that like what we'll be saying in a few weeks that Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb are like J.K. Dobbins, but for cheaper. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna get some run. It won't be league winning, but it will be plenty serviceable. And they're on offenses where you might not hate it. Some fast picks. I like it.
But yeah. Oh, and I do want to give a quick shout out to Duarte, one of my league mates who I swear follows me wherever I go. And I think he's just doing that because he doesn't want to lose to me again in this next year. So I think he's purposely like, nah, I'm going to make sure to watch and listen to every word you say because I want to beat you this time in the playoffs, which I commend him for, by the way, because that's the thing is that I love my leagues. I love talking fantasy football. I can talk about for hours with people, and I can be very opinionated and very entertaining with it. I truly believe these certain players are going to be absolutely crazy and bonkers good, So whenever I talk to my league mates, of course I'm going to talk trash. Of course I'm going to be in your face about it too. Like why not? That's fantasy football. That's competitive nature in general. If you can't handle that, then maybe I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be super competitive is what all I'm going to say on that. But no, he's a great guy. I look forward to hopefully meeting him one day in person, just like some of my other league mates that are all over the world. I believe we have one guy who I think lives in Africa, if I remember right, who plays fantasy football. And he's a really nice guy. Oh, I'm on the clock. And so I hope one day to meet him too.
If you need to pause, let me know, by the way. You got the host privilege.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm going to take my upside swing on a tight end that people are sleeping on. Now that I said that, I know Dorothy's going to take him in our actual draft, but I don't care anymore. I have this really strange feeling that I think it's going to work out for me, So
yeah, I feel like it's one of those like everyone hopes Strange falls to them, but anyone who does these mocks realizes, oh, dude, we're all in on him, right? It's always a trio for me. It's likely, Strange, Mason, Taylor, and they all end up going every time because everyone's like, oh, everyone else is on the same thing.
Yep. I mean, truthfully, if I didn't want to make one spicy pick this draft and pick Samson, I said it would have been Benson or Ford. The fact that Ford goes later than Samson, at least in this mock, is a little bit crazy considering how he's the next man up. But, I'm excited. I'm excited to see how your team finishes in this final round and how my team finishes up to see if truly this balanced approach really ends up working well. And typically, because there's still so many great quarterbacks left, I typically don't go 2 QBs in a 1 QB league. I don't see the need unless you're afraid your quarterback's going to get hurt. But if you have like an elite talent like a Josh Allen or a Jane Daniels or a Hurts or Lamar, or I don't see a reason to get a second QB because their upside is worth 2 QBs. So it's like, come on now. Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that one. I think I literally took McCarthy here just out of here's the thing. I'm just gonna like literally sell Allen for 0 and pretend like I took my first quarterback in round 14. That's just to prove a point on the graphic that like I had no business drafting. It's an auto draft. You guys know I wouldn't have, right? And if I were making that pick, by the way, because I definitely timed out there, I was between, do I take Kenneth Walker or DJ Moore? And I was looking at, maybe I should look at another position. It felt like such a gross range. That's why I ended up autoing there for sure. I wasn't even paying much attention.
There, man. I want to pick this wide receiver, but I can't overlook the fact that if this guy gets a chance to start, he's an RB1 automatically. DJ Giddens.
Yeah, dude, he looks nice in camp too. Giddens was super high for me in my prospect scouting, just looking at a little bit of tape, comparing, runs where I thought he did the work versus other players in his team. He was nice. I liked him quite a bit. I liked other players more in this draft. That's the hard thing, not this draft, but in the draft process. But a lot of upside there. I mean, it feels like a team where Taylor, JT is a luxury. They're probably not good enough to win with him. And what team needs a luxury, high-paid running back if you're not winning? They age out too quickly to matter. I think they probably have to ship JT at some point. I think Giddens is going to get some run. He's one of my fourth-round picks in all my dynasty rosters, or a guy that I'm trying to ship some amount of like a dart throw plus a fourth or a third. I'm kind of overpaying for him with a third, to be honest, for a future third, but I feel like I'll throw this. People are really into Devin Neal, right? Because we know Kamara's old and something's going to happen. I also think there's like a million running backs in New Orleans. Any of them could be good. I mean, Akers could have a Dobbins like resurrection. CEH we all liked for a couple days, right? I think Giddens has the truest clean path to either injury or they have to ship him out and he's potentially the future. Like, I don't see him as a Chase Brown, but I could see a random Chase Brown happening out of him in the future.
Yeah, no, again, the way that I'm looking at this, similar to how I think a lot of people should be looking at when you're going for a late RB swing, you want that backup that has that it or upside. Camp reports are very important, yes. Looking at, deep dives onto some of these rookies, because this was a very deep running back class. So we all know that if Giddens was here next year getting drafted, he'd be drafted much higher because he has that it factor, I truly believe, to be explosive like JT. Plus, if you know anything about unproven rookies, they take every blessing if they're not doing some stupid off the field Judkins. If they're not doing anything stupid off the field, they will cherish every moment that they get a chance to snap and take a carry or a pass or throw a pass, whatever. They will do that. And I think, truthfully, if it happens to Taylor or CMC, for example, also CMC is also one of those guys you got to be a little bit cognizant about. If those guys get hurt, if you have their backups, you essentially have a potential league winner, depending on how severe the injury is. Hey, the draft's over.
I was gonna say draft is over, man. We were cooking. Everyone was making some fast picks here, but I think a lot of them know it's a doubleheader. I'm actually getting a little
y'all know ball.
Chicken, please. Yeah, checking on in. We got our second draft. We're doubleheadering today, man. I'm probably gonna stream for literal 4 hours, and everyone here knows that if they ask me a question every time I'm almost done, I will stay here probably till I drop. So it's gonna be a good one. Normally I'm waiting for the draft breakdowns for bonus content at the way end of the night, where I can have an extra sip of something saucy, get real late night DJ, and really go deep dive analysis. I really hate doing the like real quick brief rundowns of teams. I feel like I'm shortchanging the folks where I could really go deep on. But maybe we could look at a couple, maybe not the whole team, just because that takes a little bit too long, and we want to get to. Well, we're a little bit ahead of time actually, so we do have some time to break down some teams.
And actually, that's fine because my lady made dinner and she knew that I was working very hard to work with you. So she's like, "Oh, here's dinner." I'm like, "Sweet, I'll just put it on the side, and when I'm done, I'll just wolf it down." So don't mind me and my terrible professionalism.
No, man, you are all good. Hey, by the way, guys in chat, yeah, for sure. Victorious, definitely agree with what you're saying, man. Like, at some point in the draft, all these guys were available, and I think 13 or something along those lines. Yeah, I mean, guys, this year late QB is the way to be. I mean, it's not going to happen in every league. There are some leagues where it's going to go earlier, and so you just have to find a way to not get cut off. But I mean, we're not all going to be right, you know. I mean, when late QB is this good, though, yeah, I can't even if you pick the QB1, I think. As leagues start expanding into more flexes and just more positional players, I feel like the importance of nailing QB is just not there. And the NFL's in a weird spot where I feel like a lot of the rookies hit, you know, and even the rookies that sucked are having a resurgence. Geno's back. Sam Darnold, I know we're kind of down on him, but he doesn't have to suck in Seattle. He might, but he doesn't have to, and he hasn't yet. And he didn't suck last year, so call him a system quarterback. But as of today, he's a starter. We thought he was out of the league, right? It just seems like there's a lot of names that are doing some things, and you can get them all. And it's like because a few guys made it, that makes like it flattens a tier, right? Because if Bryce Young is dead and Trevor doesn't get Hunter, all of a sudden your late round targets start to thin up a little bit. And people start reaching for the end of a tier if they need to. Now that everyone at the end feels good, McCarthy feels good. Fields, despite the injury, feels fine. Caleb, bad camp news, still a bunch of weapons. Like Purdy's got decent feet. May's got legs. Love has legs and has deep weapons. He can put up some numbers. He was QB6 one year. Dak in the 13th. Dak was a perennial top 5 quarterback in form. So these are the range of guys you can get in the 12 plus. Yeah, literally, T-Law undrafted. There's a legitimate argument for don't draft a quarterback and just stream it all year. Crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
For me, that's how I looked at tight end for many years. Is that just stream tight end or get him with like your next to last pick. If all their times you want are gone, don't worry about it. You know, unless you play in a tight end premium league, QB and tight end, and especially QB this year, guys. You don't have to do what I did and get in the 6th round, get Jay Daniels. You could be like Duarte and get what? In the 11th round, Bo Nix and get similar upside, you know, or you could wait super late and maybe you take a shot on Fields in the last round. Like,
yeah, I mean, if you're super nervous, you can just pick 2. You can go 13, 14. I mean, this went 5 bench. If you're 6 bench league, I mean, you can easily draft last 2 rounds, 2 quarterbacks, call it a day. I'm going to be picking up Anthony Richardson off waivers anyways at this point. I still got some love for my boy. I think he's going to be all right. Andrew, good call here, though. Kendre taking some first-team reps today. Feels like they might mix the guys in a little bit, but the fact that he took first-team reps and didn't get injured, though, I think, you know, we got to clap it up for Kendre Miller. You know, apparently he's wearing some body armor over there. I've never seen him take a rep that didn't end up with him on a cart of some type.
Drug tested.
That's gonna feel good.
Drug tested, man. He's clearly on something.
He's taking the Saquon juice for sure.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, look, I was never in. I will never ever be in on a TCU running back. No offense, TCU, but I guess I guess take offense if you need to. It's just probably not. I never believed in it. I don't know. I look at that team. I've got enough cheap Kendre Miller where my dynasty leagues want Kendre to do okay. I just don't see how Kendre ever completely outperforms all of the depth guys by like a lot with a guy who hasn't shown up yet. So that I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's going to be fun to talk about, but man, the Saints are such a tire fire. I'm kind of invested in Olave. We'll see how that goes. You got a Saints RB take, or are you just like, hey, out of all the things that I could fill my mind with, this ain't one of them?
So on Dynasty Pylon, which you can catch me most of the time. Shameless plug. I know.
Throw them all out there, man.
We're like, boo, hit him with the football.
We are not corporate and monetized nearly enough where we can't shout out our friends.
Honestly, look, Dynasty Pylon with Ryan, Martin, and Mark, great group of guys. Get a chance to get to know them on Discord or get a chance to know them on Sleeper or on Dynasty Pylon. Great guys. Can't thank them enough for allowing me the opportunity to work with them. But they all had the shared opinion, it feels like, that Kamara is just old and inefficient and that at some point he's going to give. So they don't want to trust him. Whereas for me, I'm a big believer in Kamara. Don't like him too much as a person because of the whole thing that went down legally speaking. Didn't like that. In fact, for 1 year, I purposely had a vendetta to not draft him because of that. I love my personal feelings of what he did off the field.
I do that every year.
And so I was like, nope. For 1 year, I'm not taking you because it's despicable what you did and getting away with it. I just was not happy with it. But as a running back for fantasy football, all right, he is one of the most efficient as a runner. No, he's no longer that efficient runner, but efficient as an RB1 starter. Yes. I mean, if you look at his entire career, I think the worst he's ever done was, I think, RB16. And he typically averages somewhere in the RB10 range or lower, or better, I guess I should say. That's typically where he averages out. So you're telling me that for an older back, I get a guaranteed, what feels like guaranteed RB1 upside every single year. And just because his efficiency metrics are down as a rusher, but they're not down as a passer, guess what? They don't know who their quarterback is. Guess what? They're ranked as a 32nd team currently in the NFL. And their offensive line, it wasn't great last year. It was the worst offensive line last year. And it was only because Derek Carr made them look decent enough, because if it was any other quarterback, they get sacked to high heaven. So what I'm saying is Kamara is going to get so much work. All right. And I don't care if he's old. He's one of those old guys that I will continuously believe in, because even though there's that running back age cliff that we all know about, there are just certain guys that just never seem to disappoint. He may not be an RB10 or 9 or better this year. He may not, but he still could finish as an RB12, RB14. You're telling me on where he goes, which is what, the 5th round typically, right? Or 4th round, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he's in that mix of like I think it's late 5th is where he goes, but he's in that mix, right?
Yeah. So you're telling me with that upside, they're not gonna take a shot on that kind of guy? I'm sorry, but if I had to pick a different guy, I do like Neal. I watched a little bit of his tape. That's something that I also do. I like to look at film a lot and do the eye test with it, as well as they check certain tangibles that I love in a player. And with those certain players, I like players I loved last year being Jane Daniels, Neighbors, Bo Nix, Bucky Irving. And this was all before the season started. I just liked their tangibles. I liked them. Just like how this year I liked Judkins, but then he went off and just, terrible. Screw you, Judkins. Again, I kid. But to me, that's how I kind of look at the backfield. I like Neal. I think that he's a better overall RB2 behind Kamara than Miller. I truly believe that. But I think until Kamara's legs truly give out on him, he's going to be the guy. He'll be the consistent guy getting the workload. Until he actually fully gets hurt and he's out for a season or something, I can't be off him. It's the same reason I looked at someone like Tyler Lockett for so long. You just can't get off him until he proves you wrong, So that's my take. Thank you for coming to my TED Talks.
Hey, you need that every now and again. Yeah, and honestly, I was actually just looking up ECR. I was looking up a couple of different ADP sets, and it looks like we are all falling in love with Kamara, because I saw him go 3-7 in this draft, but it looks like his actual ECR is just straight up 3rd round at this point. Looks like he doesn't actually get to the 4th round as often. His ADP is up.
Perfect.
So I guess that begs the question. We'll just stick here as an interesting. We'll look at some teams here in a second too, but I'm going to do a lot of breakdowns a little bit later on.
Absolutely.
Kamara in the 3rd means he competes with the late 3rd round, like the Devontae Adams. Evans now is going to get elevated with some of the injury news. Marv will probably climb as just he's probably going to look good in camp. I mean, he's probably people are going to see it. And if they don't sign a wide receiver, he's going to look good. Do we like Kamara over that range of players, or is that where he's not a value anymore for you?
So the only reason why he's going to 3rd round when he should be a 4th round pick is because of the way that this year is going. For example, last year, Then we have like a plethora of wide receivers going in the first 3 rounds like crazy, and then there's tons of running back value from 4 to 7 last year in drafts.
Well, I think the year before last year, running backs tanked everybody. It wasn't good. So running back value plummeted, and people were afraid of the dead zone. Hero running back was the favorite build last year. Everyone wanted to take your Saquon or your Gibbs early and then draft a bunch of later guys. The winning builds were the Monty, Nixon, Kamara, Connor, 5-6.
Yes. And so now this is overcorrecting itself. All right. Doing fantasy for a long time, just like you and everyone here who does a crafty snazzy, drafter knows this. So him in the third round is just going off of purely what this year's is. This year's overall ADP, ECR, all that jazz, this is what people truly believe right now. In reality, he should be going in the 4th round or even the 5th, but he's not going to because people are so scared now that because they can get wide receiver value later, that we need to get all the running backs we can early. So in the 3rd round, he's still a good pick overall. Now, you're saying, would I pick him over Adams? No. Are you saying that would I pick him over Evans? No. Would I pick him over James Cook? Now that's an actual good debate because now you're talking about.
I'd pick everyone over Cook. I'm kind of off.
Well, but you see, this is a good little scenario here because you're talking about Cook. His biggest competition is Josh Allen, and Ray Davis. Obviously Josh Allen's quarterback. I get that, but he gets so many rushing touchdowns. That's where I'm going with. Cooks is an efficiency monster, whereas Kamara is the exact opposite as a rusher. So now you're talking about, okay, which one do I prefer? The old guy who gets a lot of catches or the younger guy who's efficient, but he has to compete with Josh Allen? So it's like that kind of comparison. It allows a certain kind of thought. I still like Kamara more, but it's very closer. Or let's say Breece Hall. The way that the Jets are running that offense. Let's just think about that. Would you rather Breece Hall or Kamara in the 3rd round? They literally all 3 of these running backs won. Right.
I'm pretty high on Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall a lot this year. I think they're in very different tiers for me. I like Breece Hall as a Kyron that catches passes, but Kyron had a really, really stupid run last year that I think goes away. I'm kind of above market on Breece, so I guess it's unfair, but I look at them very differently. I
love Breece too, but also last year the Jets kind of screwed him over with the way they were trying to incorporate other running backs to take his carries away, and I'm wondering why.
I didn't even think it was the other running backs though, honestly, because his carries weren't good. But do you guys remember? You remember when I can't think of his entire name. Johnson for the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. Amazing running back, 1,000. I hated that they would just run it. Kingsbury would just run it up the guy. He had such a crappy run scheme that he took a beloved running back and made him absolute trash because the scheme was terrible. And Rodgers, I guess I feel like Rodgers might be kind of a weirdo, but I don't think he's unintelligent. It's unquestionable. He's played a lot of football at a high level, and he's a cerebral player. There's no questioning any of that, right? Now, where he is now, I don't know. But he had serious criticism over the Jets' run scheme and why they were doing it. I kind of agree. It felt like games where Breece was good, he was good. It felt like Breece didn't care. I don't know that I would if I were him, if I were his caliber of player. So I guess I'm in on if we're willing to we poo-pooed Kenneth Walker to some degree because situation in sharps and injuries are finding excuses. I was like, there's not many excuses for Breece is just very good at what he does at very, you know what I mean? For me, Breece is one of those players where I think he has a safe floor because he's good at everything. And his ceiling is I'm really good at what I do. Where Cooks for me, is I don't put him in that class of I'm really good at what I do. He needs to be on the Bills. If he's not on the Bills, what are we talking about? Is he Trey Benson if he's not in the Bills? I can see a lot of scenarios where I just don't think he would be that much better than an NFL caliber quality running back, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I'm punishing him because he's on the Bills, but he's still on the Bills. So the part that scares me is on the Bills. So if he has a crazy season, I'll say it wasn't because of him. It's because he got lucky.
Okay. As you sip your little wine in your wine glass,
it is little. I'm going to need some more. But
man.
I feel like I'm going to be streaming for 4 hours, so I probably need to slow down on the wine at some point. We'll,
you know what I need to do? I need to grab my my one beer mug and just because I don't drink and just pour just a bunch of water in there and get really cute with it. Put a little lemon in there, yes, now I feel like I'm one of the bros. It'll be great.
Oh man.
Hey Vince.
Hey
in, buddy.
Vince, I think you're probably already gone by now, but if you're watching the replay, when you rock the replay, man, Vince is such a legend, such a good dude.
Yes, he is.
thanks for popping in for a minute, and good to know Vince is a fellow fantasy dad over here. I've found that like I don't really like X or Twitter because even though I want just the fantasy content, other stuff creeps in there. But man, guys like Vince and everything, they've got like the fantasy dad energy out there. If I can just see a bunch of like dad memes with a little bit of fantasy football in there, that's living for me. That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Well, in the waning moments here, because we do got to get to this next mock. Yes. Phil should be hopping on stream any minute now, hopefully. So I'll be checking in with him and seeing when he can pop on. So we'll be getting this next mock on the road. We've got some thirsty mockers ready to go. Give me a couple takes. If you can look across the board a little bit, maybe there's a round in particular where you already know a player is like your favorite pick and all that kind of good stuff. Give me a lineup or two where give me like a pick range out of a range of players. You really like this pick, or you like these 2 or 3 picks in a row. You feel like that particular range was just crushed. Hard to break down the lineup because every decision changes the next decision when you really break it down, if you were to be hypercritical. So give me just a selection of players given the ADP. What do you like? We'll skip the negative takes for another day. If they really want the critical ones, that's what they can hang out late for.
See, and that's funny because part of my whole shtick is that when I look at rate people's teams, I always talk about how horrible they are. In reality, they're like great teams. They are phenomenal teams, but I purposely have to bring them down to earth as just a joking way of saying it. And then at the end, I'm like, yeah, no, actually, your team's pretty good. It probably dog walk most of us, but that's besides the point, you know. But as far as picks here, okay. If I'm looking across the board, and I'm going to excuse my team because I already talked about certain picks that I got that fell to me that I thought were great values. But I'm going to ignore my team and say that my team is actually dog, doo-doo, and it's going to be just like 0-14, you know, just absolutely. I'm the Lions of that one year, you know, just going 0-16. So let's see. Who do we got here? So I think Trey McBride at the 4-1. That is a great pick for you're talking about a top tier tight end. Whereas look at where Bowers went. Now, again, maybe it might have been an auto pick. I don't know because Brokow did come back. So I think he actually did take Bowers in the 210. So the fact that suddenly McBride went a whole, almost 2 rounds later because he didn't make it to the 410, obviously. I think McBride going the 4th round is very great value for an elite player. Like I'm looking for in a 12-man league who can get those it factors in those middle rounds, and that's the start. You know, like it's still an early pick round technically, but 4-1 McBride, love it. I think that pick's really great. I also like the McMillan pick as the last pick in the 5th round because you don't know. You think with the QB guru over there in Carolina that Bryson will take another step forward. And maybe McMillan will have to end up being that wide receiver 1 that they desperately need. So I think that you're taking your upside swing on a rookie. And if it works out, then it makes the rest of that roster. Like seriously, put your hand over his 5th round pick and just look at the first 4 picks. And you'd be like, damn, that's actually a really damn good team. So that's how I look at that. So I think he's good. I know you said to save any bad picks.
What's up, Rob? Good to see you here, my friend.
I think who else we got here? I think an interesting pick that's a bit of a gamble, but if it works out, it's pretty crazy. The Cup pick over there in the 7th round by Duarte.
7-8. Yeah, I was looking at
that. That's a very good spot to pick him in. As much as I'm not fully on Cup just because of the age and everything. But here's the thing. If he pops out of nowhere and stays healthy the full season, you know, you're talking about a guy who was consistently drafted for a while there in the first 2 rounds of fantasy football. So if he can produce those kind of numbers, even just for a season, you might borderline win the league because of that fact.
Mm-hmm. Should be a 2 wide receiver funnel there too. I think it goes underrated. They don't really have a viable 3 unless Torrey starts doing good. So I looked at Cup as like, do I want Cup or Devonta Smith? And I'm like, there's a lot of cases where Cup just outperforms Devonta Smith as the 2 in a 2 wide receiver offense. But we'll have to see. Phil, Dr. Ruskin, welcome into the show, man. It's been
How we doing?
It's been honestly, I was like, is he gonna have a beard? Is he gonna be bald? Is he gonna have blue tips? Is he gonna like what
Is
are we
he even gonna be?
man?
Is he even gonna be here?
Oh, if all the options were up there, that was not a door that was happening. That was
What's up,
never
fellas?
happening.
It's been a minute, huh?
Oh wait, I gotta get all this on the screen here.
What's up? Oh hey,
What's up, man?
There you go. I was gonna say, I was like, damn. Bill
I don't have the
real quick.
we
like, get that Eagle fan.
We
out
don't
here.
usually
we don't
have
our
my stream setup is not set up well for 3 people, so we're gonna have to get a little custom with this. It's all good. We're gonna see just how bad I am at running full production here. So it's all good. Thankfully,
you're doing a fantastic job.
Pretty well. While I do a touch of back end production here, boys. Sure. Pick, give me well, I have you completely kicked off camera because I'm a crazy person. Give me one more pick that sounds good while I edit this layout a little bit.
Sure, buddy. I am the ghost of Pickadelphia, giving you one final great pick here. And realistically, if I look at it, I'm actually going to say in the 9th round, getting David Njoku. So I'm actually going to butter your biscuit a little bit.
I was going to give you the same credit on Diggs, by the way. I think I did that on stream, but I'll take it.
David Njoku in the 9th round. You're talking about a guy with whoever's at quarterback. They're going to target him like crazy. And if Judkins is truly suspended for X amount of time, which people are saying anywhere from 3 to 6 games, Njoku is just a tight end that has the easiest upside to finish inside of the top 10. You know, for someone who people don't consider a elite tight end, you know, elite being someone like Bowers or McBride, something like that. So he has a great shot to be a great later round tight end pick. Whereas I'm banking off of Ingram because even Evan Ingram going to a team that they need a solidified tight end. He is that guy. He proved it to be that guy in Jacksonville. But you got the guy who I think has an easier time to prove it. Because his only real competition is what? Jerry Jeudy? That's really it? I mean, come on. Like, Flacco
I guess Jerome Ford sometimes catches passes. Not as well as Dylan Sampson.
And I love Ford. But no, that's my last one that I would say there. So I applaud you for that. Because if Evan Ingram would have gone, I would have picked Njoku as my other tight end there. So congratulations.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, and then... Yeah, and then... go ahead. I'll just commentate for this second draft.
I was going to say, so just getting into it, chat. I am much better at giving y'all takes than I am running production. So I made a little bit of a boo-boo, and I did not get our boy Pick here set up for the mock draft 2. I did not send him a private invite. We're going to see if anyone is not ready. But I'm pretty sure they're all ready, unless Brocal. He autoed a few times, but I think he's still here.
He did. He usually is around though.
Yeah, he'll be all right. So we're Pick. I think we're gonna have to do some co-picks, me and you. And if you
that's fine. I mean, how about this? If you're torn between a couple of players, you ask for my opinion, and then we can decide on a pick that way. So that way it's fair. Because I don't want to derail anyone's strategy for anything. I want them to go into this treated like an actual draft.
Yeah, let's run it. We'll pause on it. We'll go like pick for pick a little bit. We'll do a little combo draft. It'll be a good time. You'll have some more takes. So Uno, you're good. Uno, stay in. You're too good of a drafter. Stay in here. We can when we got 3 people doing hosting too. It's we can't all be making picks all the time too, so not a big deal. I was thinking about popping out actually and having you pop into my pick, Phil. But with me on the clock, we'll just I'll give half my picks to you for sure, and any pick that I'm not ready for, I'm just gonna have you make for me.
So before anything, I just want to say hello to Phil because I think it's the first time I've actually got a chance to talk to you.
Yeah,
it is a pleasure to meet you, sir. And you're over there at the extra point. Am I reading that right?
You got it, man.
Perfect.
You got it.
Perfect. So I look forward to working with you, obviously, and getting to know a bit more about you. And I get to see how great your draft skills are.
I can't get over this hat, man. I'm just trying to see if I can figure out a way to see. Is this a red actual sport coat blazer with the Philadelphia Eagles?
Oh,
hat?
this?
Is that what you got going on?
Yeah. No. So this is so for one of my leagues every 3rd year. you have a chance to win this this thing here, which is I put commish. There you go. Camera's here, so I put commish there for myself. But for every year you win, I add a little pin to the jacket, so that way you can. Yeah, so it's a little blazer that I have, and then I'm wearing 3 hats right now, just because why not? It looks like I'm wearing 2, but it's really 3.
I love the passion, man. I love.
I gotta be crazy, bro. You know.
Well, hey, while we get into this, y'all, we got some thirsty mock drafters over here. I know Phil. No matter how much screen time he has, Phil does like a best ball team every single day. I know he's just absolutely locked in, probably locked into the wrong ADP set. So we'll see how that best ball brain is on. Phil's gonna have 5 wide receivers through 5.
This draft that we just did, Kendall, had my brain a little rewired. I was like, why are all the running backs gone, and why are all the receivers still on the board? So which is great for me, because you boys know how I like to build. I was like, give me all of them, but
it'll fall the right way. So
between that and Scott Fishbowl, my brain is like needs a reset. So
how did you do in Scott, by the way? Scott Fishbowl.
You guys good to start this?
Yeah, we're good. Scott Fishbowl was it was fine. I think the problem in my league in particular, I will not say what league I'm in case I don't, because I am going to put a couple people, not by name, but there's a couple people that quit after like the 4th round.
I hate that. There's
the guy that's next to me was on the clock for 16 straight hours to auto pick 2 times, like 4 different times. So it's just like it doesn't, like it's fun if everyone's going to be engaged, and I don't mind a slow clock. I understand the reasons for it, and I've never had an issue with the slow draft, right? But participate.
Yes.
I don't care if it's 8 hours.
Brocal autos again here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get pick in actually.
That's fine.
Get ready.
You don't want him to auto draft Mr. I have a strained hamstring already, Justin Jefferson?
Yeah, right, dude.
Hey, speaking of fun things in camp, or in this case, maybe not so fun, does Najee Harris, is he a pirate officially? Does he only have 1 eye? Does he have 2 eyes? What's going on? I saw a picture of him with looking like crazy, right? He's got the sunglasses, he's got the hoodie. Like, what's his situation?
Oh man, I'm pretty sure he's embracing the pirate role because he knows that Halloween's right around the corner.
Yeah, is it?
So he's just thinking, hey man, as we get older, I think you agree. It feels like the years just go by so fast.
Yeah, so they do for sure.
Actually, I've never kicked somebody from a draft before. How do you kick somebody?
I was
never done this. I'm
so
proud I've never done it
before.
You have to do it before.
I think we have to do it before. All right. Well,
it's all good.
It's fine. If you want, I can pretend to be Brocal and tell you which pick that I would do.
Yep, you're Brocal. You're Brocal. We're pausing.
Well, who would you take here? JJ Gibbs or CeeDee Lamb? What would be?
I would pick Gibbs here.
Yeah,
we're going Gibbs here. Okay, here we go.
There you go,
guys. It's all good. It's all
good. All right. Well, that makes it easier for me, because I would have had a hard time deciding between Jahmyr Gibbs and CeeDee Lamb. But I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb easy, because as of today, he has 2 hamstrings that are fully functional. We like that.
Yes, we do.
Man, that Darnell Mooney news, big bummer, because I've been smashing the button on Darnell Mooney in best ball as often as I can in the 8th, 9th round there to go with Drake London to get that 11th round Michael Penix stack for my 3rd, Kendall, my 3rd of the 3 triple stacks. I like my triple stacks in best ball. But
yeah, buddy.
But now Mooney's going to miss the next month. So, that's how it goes.
He's still going to be fine. He's going to be all right.
His
ADP is going to plummet, and then we can take some value. Oh, I'm actually.
Hey, you know what? I haven't had a chance to ask you this. Speaking of ADPs, how high is Dylan Sampson's ADP about to go? Because it's moving already. It's moved 3 rounds in a week. 3 rounds, guys. That's 36 picks.
I think it's too much.
I mean, too.
To me, like I like the pick, but the fact that he's skyrocketing off boards, like they're not going to win a lot of games. They're not going to have a great quarterback, regardless of who it is. I think it's going to be a 2-3 headed monster where it's like, what happened? I just don't see any single player emerging getting that many carries. Oh man, I get to take him. I get to take all of them. Oh my goodness, I don't even know what to do with myself. I think the right play is Derrick Henry, Genty, and then offense line feels not good. I think Achane is my chalk here.
Yeah. By the way, when it gets to be my pick, because since Brocal is on auto, Just before, obviously, Phil knows which guy he's going to pick, I'll tell you which position I'm looking at, and if the guy's there, I'll just tell you who to put.
You're good.
There. That way,
just pause it. Just pause. Yeah, just pause it.
It won't take
after I
more
pick.
than a couple
It'll be fine.
seconds.
Yeah.
But Phil, if you ever have like a crazy take on a pick where it's a tough call, we're just gonna pause and talk through it, man. Give the folks your thoughts. But man, that was a tough one, honestly. Between Achan, Genty, and Henry, that was a spot that hasn't come up very often because I feel like Achan's been going a lot higher. I'm curious as to what you guys think about that trio when you're staring it down. You have a pretty hard 1, 2, 3 there. Let's go to Phil. What do you think about that 3-pack?
Well, go ahead and pause it here
pause.
before Perk. Sorry, I should have told you I was about to pick there. So you should just pause it on mine. That's what we should do, Kendall. Just pause it on.
I will.
My pick.
No, leave.
I'm gonna take Bucky here, so you can take JT off the board unless that's who you want their pick.
Who do you want there, bud?
I'm gonna take Bucky.
He wants Bucky. And then I'll take. Watch you first. Show me the. Once you get him, Bucky. Perfect. And then, real quick, show me the wide receivers. Yeah, I do. But show me the wide receivers real quick, just because I want to get a look at them. Ooh, no, I'll stick with running back. Give me Josh Jacobs.
Going Jacobs there.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it. All right, Phil, you were breaking down those big three.
Sorry, give me the big three again.
Achan, Henry, Genty. By ADP, it's in sleeper. It's Henry, Genty, Achan, I think.
Yeah, I think there's two different things. Number one, we know we talk about this all the time, right? But PPR, half PPR, standard. I don't think anybody's in a standard league at this point. If you are, you're taking Derrick Henry for the touchdown upside. That's the order, and then flip a coin, to be honest, on the Genty, Achan, and standard. In half, I'm going to take Achan, Genty, and then Henry, only because, quite simply, go ahead, Kendall, if unless pick wants Mr. McBride there.
Okay, who you want here?
Oh, bro. Well, you see here, I'm thinking a kicker because kickers are very valuable, Let me see. Give me, for the upside, give me Tyreek Hill.
Nice.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, I like that pick a lot.
Yeah, that's a good pick. So I'm with the ADP in that sense in the standard league. Let me see 1 second on the clock because I just can't not push this button. I'm having a hard time not doing it. Kendall, who it's about to be.
Breece Hall.
It is not Breece Hall. That is the wrong. I just fat fingered it. I meant to hit T. Higgins. Sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah, we can T there.
Sorry.
Hey, man, this is an actual draft. Sorry, but no.
Right. No. So in half, I'm going to take Achan. I'm going to take Genty and then Henry because Genty, we believe, is going to be the focal point of that offense. In full, I'm going to have the same order. Here's the caveat. The caveat is Genty is going to be on an offense that we don't project to be very good, and Derrick Henry is going to score an incredible amount of touchdowns. So in half, if you have the Henry over Genty, I'm okay with that because the half PPR isn't as big of a deal. In full PPR, give me Genty, give me Achan over Henry. I think the challenge with Genty is it's not Dynasty. In Dynasty, Genty is the clear pick. But this is the first season. We know it's a Chip Kelly offense. We know it's a Pete Carroll team, so we expect the Raiders to run the ball a ton. We don't project that they're going to have Bowers as their leading pass catcher as a tight end, and Jacoby Myers should be their second in targets. But I think Genty's going to soak up a lot of those targets. In a Chip Kelly offense, they're going to run, and then they're going to throw it to him. My question is, volume aside, because we expect the volume to be there, is there going to be enough scoring opportunities? Whereas Baltimore, we expect them to score and expect them to score a ton. So I think it's hard for me to project in a half PPR that Genty is a clear pick over Henry. The touchdown upside to me is just too great. And the wide receiver core in Baltimore isn't stellar, which means it's the Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry show. So that's how I see it. And Achan, you've seen it. You've seen it for a season with Mostert, and now you're getting the backfield, still not to himself, but he's the lead dog. So give me Achan.
Oh, I feel better now. I mean, I don't know. I can't quit Achan. Part of me is also like, man, what if he brings back that efficiency from 2 years ago and just lights it up, man? Yeah, I'm kind of into it. I got a wheel here, guys. I'm debating whether or not I should take the tight end here. Should I get real spicy? You know, it's the only time I'm going to have to make this call, and I truly believe it. This is the perfect setup for it.
Yeah.
My tight end 2 is George Kittle. And I have Marv on this team, so I can't take Trey. So it just, I finally get to do it. I've not found a spot for it yet, and there it is.
Wow. That is definitely a spicy take. I was like, damn, he's totally going to pick McBride because that's what everyone says to do, pick McBride. But no, you picked Kittle.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, buddy. He knows. He knows.
Kittle is tight end 1, man, you know. Hey, if he finishes at tight end 1, then you just clearly,
Just go ahead and pause it here, Kendall.
Yeah.
So it's actually fun that we obviously paused because we want Pick to be able to get his next guy here because of the auto pick. But I do think this is an interesting talking point for those that can see the screen. For those that know me, for those that listen to the show, I am very much, unless I can get a stack or I can get like a crazy outlier, I'm a late quarterback drafter. But where I'm at on the board, there is a clear advantage with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson here over any of the running backs and certainly over any of these wide receivers. And as much as I love wide receivers, I'm only 8 picks away from going again. I'm going to take Josh Allen here. And then I'll go back and grab a wide receiver here in the 5th round because I don't think I need to reach at this point for a guy that 2 or 3 players in the pool that's kind of a flat tier for me that should all make it back to me. At least 1 or 2 of them should, of guys that I'm looking at. So I'll take Allen here, Kendall.
And Mr. Philadelphia / Brocal. We know we're going Josh Allen. Who are you going, my friend?
You know, it's funny because if I was going to go early QB, it would be in the 5th round at the earliest because I see now 2 QBs would be going off the board. Let me just take a look. Ooh, you know, that's not a bad idea. Let me see the wide receivers real quick. Just want to see. Nah, I'll take Chuba Hubbard.
Taking Chuba. Let's get it.
I mean, literally, the dude is going to get another like 250 plus carries. The dude's going to go crazy. And if you have him in Scott Fishbowl, then you're really happy in Scott Fishbowl, you know. So that's fine. Actually, to briefly talk about Scott Fishbowl just for a second, because I also ran into the same problem, Phil, as you did. Unfortunately, I'm not going to name nobody. Sure. In my draft, there was one guy who auto-picked 5 total picks, and every time he unautoed himself, we had to wait the full 8 hours.
Wow.
And it was very disheartening. And then we had another guy who was so fed up with it that he auto-picked 2 straight rounds because he just thought, well, what's going on? So in total, we had like 7 until the final round. We had 7 auto picks, and they were all early picks too. From either round 2 all the way up to round 9, there was some sort of auto pick that was happening. And it was kind of sad to see because I get slow draft, and I'm not always the biggest advocate of big slow drafts, to be honest. But I don't know. It depends. You know, it depends on what are we talking about here. So for Scott Fishbowl, I understand. But it's like if it's 8 hours to make a pick and you don't have the time to do so, I almost wonder why are you even there? And it's no disrespect to you, but it's like if you're doing that for multiple rounds, it ruins it where someone else maybe could have had the opportunity to go, you know, into Scott Fishbowl. Maybe it was their first year kind of thing. I'm not going to say the guy's name because I'm sure he's a great guy. He just works a lot. I mean, the value fell to me. That was nice, but, you know, that's not what Scott Fishbowl's for, you know.
My issue with any slow draft as you're getting your pick together here,
Sure.
I'll take the mic while you guys.
Yeah, let me know as soon as you want to make the pick too, so we can keep the draft moving.
Okay, let's see here. Let me see. I see the running backs in there, and they're all so good. Still, that's wild to me. Let me see the wide receivers real quick. Ooh, let me see a tight end real quick. Oh, because you took. Okay, as much as I would love to go for another running back, I'll go wide receiver and give me, just for the fun of it, give me J-Mo.
What a guy. What a sniper right in front of my face.
Nice.
Sniper. All good. We can survive this. I'm going to roll with the rookie on this one here, as much as I believe that Jalen Waddle's going to have a bounce back season. Give me Travis Hunter in this position here. My issue with a slow clock is very simple. There is no way, there's no possible way as a human being you do not check your cell phone for 8 hours. It's impossible. Unless you are asleep or you have some sort of a job where you have to lock your phone in like a locker or a storage compartment for the duration of your workday. It is impossible that you don't check your phone. So I don't mind a slow draft. Obviously, I have to do them in certain situations. I've been seeing a lot of the 2-hour clock, and I'm really liking the 2-hour slow draft clock lately because it's enough time to miss a pick. I'll give you a little grace on that one, but it's also enough time to like keep things moving. You can get through probably 2 full rounds a day, which is nice because then you're still getting a slow draft, but you're also getting some picks in and not sitting there having maybe in that situation you were just describing, right? Like one pick for, in my situation, 16 hours.
Yeah.
Guy was on the clock. So yeah. Jameson Williams, Kendall, sneaky preview. He's on my short list for league winners when we get to our league winners show. I don't know if I'm ready to put him onto the show yet, but I've already started putting together the league winners in my pool of players, and he's in there.
Okay. We're gonna have to fight over him, I think. We're gonna have to fight over him.
It sounds like sounds like if you are fighting me for him, that he's gonna make the show. So that's
yeah,
what we're going for.
He is definitely making the show. Hey, not to breeze over it real quick because we got a good couple friends at a show on here hopping in chat. I want a Chuba take. Andrew's really in on Chuba. Andrew is one of the SBF guys. Talk to me a little bit about someone. Give me some Chuba take. Pick Pickadelphia. Talk to me a little bit about Chuba while I make a pick here. I think we're all consensus pretty in on him.
Yeah, why? I mean, I'm all into the Hubbard show. You know, I'm all big fan of him. I watched him come into the league. I thought he had some great explosive talent. I was a big fan of him when he came in. I saw the years where he actually was exploding. And then he kind of had like a down year where he kind of like regressed a little bit. At least that's what it looked like. And, you know, you could blame that on the usage or the coordinator at the time. But Hubbard, where he is right now, he has like zero competition. Rico Dowdle, not scared of him. If anything, Rico Dowdle is an interesting handcuff for super, super late if you want to do handcuffs. But if you don't want to do handcuffs, you just get Rico Dowdle later. Or just get Hubbard, which him going when I got him in the 4th round. I actually have Hubbard as a late 3rd round kind of pick, to be honest. In a redraft league, I absolutely do. So me getting him late in the 4th, I just was really happy with that. Or maybe that's my Scott Fishbowl brain talking a little bit. But
you pause it here.
Yeah, go ahead and pause there. But no, Hubbard, I love him. I think that he'll have another solid year ahead of him. And again, you're talking about a back who will get that 250 carries. And if he got 300 or more, not saying he will, but if he did, man, you're looking at a guy who has such an extreme high upside for where you get him. In this case, the 4th round of finishing as a top RB 1 through 5. It's funny because we don't even think about that. We're thinking about those outliers who could potentially get there. And he would be one of my picks that could easily finish in the top 5 if they use him correctly and he doesn't get hurt. That's always the key word. Don't
Kendall,
get hurt.
I'm gonna take Jordan Addison.
Addison off the board.
That's a good pick because I would have definitely have wanted.
I thought you were picking Addison too. Can't take Addison. Who are we taking after Addison?
Okay, so let me see. So I have who do I got on my team for? I've got Gibbs, Jacobs, Hill, Chuba Hubbard, and then the 5th round was JMO, right? Okay. Let me see the running backs real quick. See if there's a 4th back that entices me enough. God damn it, Judkins. Oh my God. Oh, I mean, I'm so anal about that. I hate that because I drafted him in Scott Fish before the incident.
So did I. I drafted him like hours before the incident, and I was like,
"You want to know what's crazy? Is that I was in Fort Lauderdale visiting my father, and where he got arrested was just 25 minutes away from me. So I was so tempted to go down that jail cell and I'm like, God damn it, bro. Anyways,
good, man.
Since I can't pick him and I can't do that, let me see the wide receivers just one more time. I want to see who we got. Ooh, that's a bit of a spicy scenario. But, you know, I feel like he could have like a JSN kind of like 2nd season. Despite that QB, man. I'll pick Roma Dunze.
Love it. I
I mean, I'm not a Caleb fan. I'm not no offense to you, but I'm not a Caleb fan. But Rome to me has that tangibles where he could have that JSN season 2 kind of outlook, So I think he's a value here in the
Hey man, for my sanity, I kind of need him too. Man, I really, really need him too. I bought him everywhere. I sold a lot of 1-for-1 Chase Brown for Rome wherever I could because I owned Chase Brown everywhere. It's looking like Chase Brown might be here to stay. I think I sold low too early, so we'll have to see. Rome just feels so talented to me. I really hope he gets to show what he can do with the ball. So we'll have to see.
How do you guys feel about Sam Laporta this year, knowing that Ben Johnson is gone?
I mean, we said don't draft Sam Laporta last year on the Do Not Draft show, not because we said don't draft him. We said don't draft him at his ADP because he was getting steamed up last year where you see Bowers going in the second round in certain cases. Nice. If I'm going to put JMO in the league winners show, I think I naturally have to fade Laporta because we know Gibbs catches balls and Amon-Ra is still there. So Detroit to me is a little bit like Chicago right now. There's too many mouths to feed and there's only one football to go around. So somebody has to fail. And at the same time, if none of them fail, they can't all succeed on the same week. So my issue with in a redraft situation,
that's nice. I would have
that would have been
show me the running backs because if I don't like any running backs, I know exactly who I'm picking. I kind of like that, but I already have 3. Do I really want a 4th one like that? I mean, if this was an actual league, maybe because then I could trade him. But no, you know what? Nah, we're gonna go wide receiver. It's a bit early to get this guy, but I don't expect to make it back to me. I'll take Stephon Diggs.
Diggs again.
It's a little bit early, but given where I'm at, I know he won't make it back to me. So I'd rather
his
get my
ADP
guy.
is rising with him not making the pup, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, to me, he's their wide receiver 1, and he could easily get 140 plus targets. And I trust volume to be king. Even though he's an old guy, who cares? He's one of those old guys I think that is consistent.
Sniped Dirty Jimmy over there. He's coming for you. Looks like you were not the only one on the board looking for Diggs there. Hey, Vike, appreciate it. Hey, man, you gotta be nice to me. We know this as Bears fans. We fully understand. You guys ever see? I think some people threw it on X, but I think they did it on like First Take or something. But the Bears win total, if you just blindly take the Bears under every year, you would be just printing money. Over the last 10 years, outside of one season, I think we pushed the win total. I think might have beat it, but yeah,
couldn't help it.
Am I about to pick downs? I don't know. Should I pick downs here? Is this where I just mandatory have to take downs?
Nope. Never mind. You got this absolutely sniped.
Wow. That's why he's not available.
Yeah.
Okay. We're sniped 6 ways to Sunday.
I am curious. I am curious to know why you're so extremely high on downs. And keep in mind, I love downs, and I'm totally with you. But I'm just curious why you would want him, like, let's say in the 7th round after you make your pick.
Oh, yep. Actually, okay, we made it in time. This is a split pick. Normally I go with Cup here. I'm going to take a split on Reed. If I had 30 more seconds, guys, I actually would probably take a running back and flip this next pick. So I'm going to go probably thin at running back again.
Ooh.
Most likely.
Just
because there's a guy I think I have to take. I should have taken him. I should have taken a running back at 7-10 and then taken this next guy next. But we'll see. We're going to push the later running back as much as we can. Yeah, Brian Robinson was the guy I would have taken over Reed there. Tracy was in consideration for me.
That's Vikes team is actually interesting to me because he went so hard onto wide receivers, and then he managed to get very fortunate to have 3 starting running backs. And they're valued running backs too, outside of Henderson, because Henderson could actually end up being like a back end RB1. It's possible.
All right. Well, I got sniped on Ibuka. I mean, Wilson just took all my favorite wide receivers there that I was going to take.
But he watched the show. That's why.
Yeah. But it's all good. I like my boy Jalen Warren. I think he's a solid NFL running back. I think the team is going to have to live and die by the running back. And I love Caleb Johnson. I would rather had Caleb Johnson by a mile, but I think Warren is getting beaten down a little bit too much. And I just think that Warren, I don't know. I just think he's going to be good enough. I think he's going to be one of the most I think he'd be the Monty of this year in a different way, like the other role, but I think he's just going to be really solid. Like I see this as, there used to be years where I think the Seahawks did this the most, where they would give like Chris Carson a series and then the next guy a series. I think Thomas Rawls was in there for a little bit. I see them going like series for series potentially, where it's not third down, first down back. It's just they're both going to get, I could see them both getting 15 to 18 touches a game, every single game. How it goes down, I don't know. I just feel like Warren is going to be valuable.
Pause.
Let's do it.
Man, it's crazy because I'm just curious. What's your pick be before I decide?
Well, the pick here would have been Darnell Mooney, to be honest. But with the news of Darnell Mooney missing camp, it's your boy. It's Jaden Higgins time. It's Jaden Higgins.
Oh, we
it's
like
Jaden
it.
Higgins time.
Yeah, Higgins.
Happy holidays. It's Jaden Higgins time.
Nice.
So normally here, I would actually hope for my stack to fall to me here, which is this is where I'd get like somebody like Bo Nix. Then my next pick would be like Ingram. But I'm not going to do that. Instead of being practical, I want to be different. And I'm looking at my roster. And this is where, and this I think is very important. This is where if you want to take a shot on a guy, that is going to miss time due to either be on the PUP list or in the case of someone being potentially suspended, you can afford to take a shot on a guy whose upside can be pretty nice. So even though he burns me in Scott Fishbowl for probably 6 weeks, and even though he just couldn't sign his contract yet, and it's like the biggest risk in the world to take this guy, but I do not care because I think all that will get smoothed out. Give me Judkins.
So I just want to add to this really quickly because I think a lot of people, whether you're listening to this show or you're listening to other shows, whatever you're listening to, this is going to be the hot topic for the next duration of Cleveland's camp. My issue isn't the arrest. My issue is the fact that he hasn't signed his contract. And it's not that he hasn't signed the contract after the arrest. We understand why he hadn't signed the contract now, but why didn't he sign it before? And I understand all the second round picks. We're all holding out for more guaranteed money. Like we all understand the narrative, but this is someone that you got to take the narrative out for just a second because this is who Cleveland drafted. They got rid of Nick Chubb. And they very clearly said, you are going to be our starting running back. Why doesn't this kid and the agent and everybody in Cleveland, now I understand. Now,
oh, you're on mute.
Oh, looks like we get a little mic issue there. Oh, I feel you're back on. Well, while we're dealing with some technical difficulties, we're going to have a pause here. And then...
Kendall, you good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Might be coming from a different speaker, but yeah, we can hear you.
I think it might be coming from his PC speaker now.
Yeah, I think it sounded like PC there. Well, I'm going to answer this here in a second. Phil's got to do a little bit of resitting there, no problem. So we'll pause on your pick. So be thinking about your pick. I'll bring up the board here so you can be thinking about what you do with Brokell's team there. I'll just give you the flex choice. You don't have a quarterback yet. Heads up. I can open up quarterback if you want. We can go back to flex.
That's okay because, again, normally here I would because I know that the idea, but I wanna test something and wait longer on QB because based off of our last draft, I think that I can still get a huge upside at QB way later. So for my next pick here, I think it's no brainer who I'm going to pick here. It's going to be, and it's funny because it would have worked out as the perfect stack, but I'm going to pick Evan Ingram.
I knew it. All right. We feel good about that.
I mean, it's no brainer. In the 9th round, him and Njoku are just such amazing value there. Like, come on now. Like,
love it.
I don't need a quarterback yet. I'm fine.
Well, now that you've got that picked, and I think it's a great pick, no question. Phil, back on the clock.
Phil's back on the clock, and I'm going to follow suit, and I'm going to do one thing that I don't normally do. I'm actually going to take a tight end here, and I'm not going to take David Njoku.
Interesting.
I'm going to take Tyler Warren.
Yeah, I like that. I knew you were
I'm going to take Tyler Warren, and the only reason I'm going to take Tyler Warren is because I believe as bad as both quarterback rooms are.
Oh, take him.
I do. Oh, sorry. I thought you were doing it for me because we had paused.
No, I got you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, sorry.
Jaden. I'm kidding.
I just don't trust whoever the hell's the starting quarterback in Cleveland. I just don't. And I understand the narrative with Njoku, and there's really no one else there besides Jerry Jeudy, but there's really not a lot that, I mean, you can't tell me that Michael Pittman and Josh Downs are going to be massive target hogs, whereas Tyler Warren and Jonathan Taylor, who's the quarterback's best friend? The tight end. And I in this kind of a scenario, let's just see what the team looks like. Would I do that in a real draft? Probably not. I probably would have punted and taken another running back or loaded up on a receiver here, but see how it looks.
Yeah, that's the point of these mocks. We want a theory craft to see how things would go. You know,
and I'm trying to get back into redraft mode because, Kendall, to your point, like I've done so much best ball that my brain is going, wait a minute, why am I not stacking? I am loving some of the value in the late round running backs of guys that could emerge. Like Dylan Sampson is the obvious, like pick Dylan Sampson because you may end up getting Cleveland starting running back. But Dylan Sampson aside, you know, some of these other players like Tajay Spears is still, as of today, in a 50-50 time split with Tony Pollard. So Tajay Spears here in the 9th round, Lord of Fanta, fantastic pick because you may wind up with Tennessee's starting running back in an offense that we don't project to be very good with not awesome wide receivers and a rookie quarterback. So I like that pick, right? The Tyler Algiers of the world, like we know that those are always going to be valuable, like you said, are their handcuffs, right? But give me Tajay Spears. Give me somebody that's got, you know, a decent opportunity to actually score. And as on cue, there you go. There's one right there.
Well, let's do Mr. Pickadelphia. Let's get a pick, and then we'll hit Kinsis' question here after we make it through these couple of picks. That is a spicy one.
I am taking Mr. White, Mr. Rashad White.
That is a very, very good pick, and then that's a backup that literally can have starter.
Could be. You may have just I may have just drafted the starting running back for Tampa Bay, who also, even if he isn't, is still going to profile as the pass catcher. That's what I'm looking for.
That's fine. You know, outside of the news, if there wasn't news about Darnell Mooney, I'd gladly take him here. But let me see. Oh, he's still there. Oh, that's a no-brainer. Give me Isaac Garando. That's a no-brainer.
Garando, one of my pet picks.
Oh,
absolutely love him.
I love him, and I actually liked his raw athleticness coming out of the draft. And I knew that, hey, realistically, he's not better than CMC, and I know that. But, like, CMC, and I get it, he's such a potent person, like player, and I get it that the idea of, oh, you know, if CMC gets hurt, then you might have just screwed up your whole fantasy team, even though I don't technically believe that if you mess up one round, that means you're going to lose fantasy football. I don't believe that. But if anything happens to CMC, this guy's going to be a clear RB1 and potential league winner. I mean, the 49ers are an RB factory. Literally, anyone who starts there will always go off. Unless you're Elijah Mitchell, who gets hurt every year, it feels like, you know.
Yeah, he really does.
Outside of that, I mean, Garano's just such a talent, just full talented guy. I mean, getting him here is just, to me, I feel like a steal, and it's wrong. You know, it's like Spears. It's like Spears in the 9th round. It feels wrong to get him late in the 9th round. It just feels wrong. That's how I feel about Garando anywhere in the 10th.
Who would we be picking here after Garando?
Let me look at the running backs again. I'm generally curious. Man, Najee being there is kind of
Najee's interesting, even with one eye.
And right? I mean, because you're talking about a guy who was previously a starting running back.
He never had great vision, you know.
Yeah, apparently. Well, no, definitely will now. Let me look at the tight ends because Mooney is there too. Let me see the QBs real quick.
Yeah, I'll just give you all QBs are kind of at the top there.
Yeah, you know, none of those guys really excite me right now. You know what? Let me. I know he. You know what? Yeah, I'll take. He is an interesting pick, and I think that's why I gotta pick him. I'll pick Najee Harris.
Najee off the board. The Pirate.
In a real draft, if this was really happening, I would take the falling value of Mooney. He's going to miss camp. He's not going to miss all season. So now I could get as my wide receiver 6 somebody who's a wide receiver 2. But because because where we are today, I'm going to take Raymond and see if Raymond can't produce some touchdown magic, since I only have 3 running backs on this roster right now.
It's so funny you say that, because if it wasn't for that news, I'd also
keep it rolling.
Yeah.
I'm queued up. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's July.
Mm-hmm.
We are still 2 weeks away, 8 days away, excuse me, from 6 days away. 6 days away from the first game, the Hall of Fame game. I forgot that it was July 31st. My brain said it was next weekend, and it's not next weekend. The first weekend of August is what I was trying to say. But we are getting to the point now where guys are going to, Justin Fields got stepped on and Darnell Mooney was carted off. And, we've got players like there's no definitive timeline on Brandon Ayuk. And so there's news that is impacting drafts. Obviously, no one should not be drafting. Please don't be drafting right now. That's ridiculous.
I agree.
Unless you're doing best ball and then hammer away. And even best ball, to be fair, is starting to get to a point where the value that you could have got. I am a notorious early summer best ball drafter, because at the beginning of the summer, I was getting Pacheco and I was getting Travis Etienne in the 12th and 13th rounds, because people, for whatever reason, had just buried the both of them. Said, oh, they just buried him.
But I don't get why.
Neither do I. The Travis Etienne thing, I don't ever think he should have been that low, but I understand fading him with the Tootin draft and with Bigsby there and the new coordinator, and like, it is a crowded backfield.
Ooh.
But the 13th round, that's disrespectful.
Honestly, now that you mention him, low, like has he actually gone yet in this mock?
Etienne?
Etienne, he has, right?
Yeah, he's in the 7th round here.
Oh, yeah, he would have been gone by
Luxido.
I was about to say, I was like, damn.
But that's my point, right? Is like, when you get to this point of camp, right? And I know a lot of guys picked up Lambert Smith from the Chargers because he made a fantastic one-handed catch and the other day in camp, and that's fine. Like, that's fine. Like, let's not get read the tea leaves of the camp hype. But start paying attention to it. And Kendall and I talk about this all the time. I'm looking for bad news in camp. I'm not looking for good news, because everyone in July and August is the best player in the world, and everyone's going to win the Super Bowl, and everyone's going to win you your fantasy league.
Yep.
And that's just simply not the case. So I think for me, what I'm looking for is the same thing everyone is, but like, I'm looking for value. I'm looking for clear path. Tyler Algier going right there in the 12th round. That was a player I was hoping was going to make it back to me. Great pick there by Andrew Tucks. That's another one that we really like. So, yeah, I think that's what you're trying to find. Where are we here?
Nice pause coming. Let's Phil, talk me through.
At this point, I'm going to be honest, there's just not a lot that I love here. So I'm probably just going to go ahead. I feel good about my balance in my build with 4 running backs and 5 receivers.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I have an anchor in quarterback position and kind of a half of an extra running back there with Josh Allen. So I'm just going to go ahead and take best available. And right now, because of what I see on this board, and I just don't see enough volume and I don't love it. I like my Tyler Warren pick. I don't love it. I'm going to take Mr. Ferguson so that I can technically stream the tight end position from my own bench.
Little Jacques Fergie.
Little Jacques Fergie.
Love it. Love it. Dak is back doing the thing. Philadelphia. Talk me through. What are we doing here, my friend?
Well, I just like him am loving the way that my build is, where I have 4 quality wide receivers that could, all really just go off. It's very possible. J-Mo can be a league winner, like we mentioned. Tyreek Hill can easily have a bounce back year. Rome, I think, could have a JSN year 2, and Diggs is the wide receiver 1 in there. There's no question about that. As much as people like Kyle Williams, I'm just big on Diggs. So here it's kind of like, do I just continue down that tread of loading up all the running backs that people are going to want if somebody gets hurt, and then it's a huge trade value for me to pick up something else later? Because I could, because there's definitely guys there. But also, I also got to think about my second flex spot. In the case of a scenario where someone gets hurt, I should really also focus on that, on a guy I think that will be consistent. So it's definitely not wide receivers, because I don't like any of these wide receivers here. They are just not great. Let me look at this here. Man, there's just too many good late tight ends here, man. That's just crazy. Let me see running backs again one more time. I might actually pull the trigger on that. Yeah, sure.
Chat getting to see all of my watch list players, by the way. Free content here. You guys to see live checking and unchecking, folks.
All right, you know what? I'm not gonna pick Kareem Hunt as much as I like to. Give me a tight end. Give me the Brendan Strange of the world. I got another strange feeling.
Getting strange with it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'd pick him in round 13, but then I thought the quarterback that I want might actually go in the 13th round, or like 14th round. So I'm like, nah.
Kendall, it's a good thing you're sitting down. I'm kind of in on the Jaguars right now.
I knew this would happen.
I'm kind of in on the Jaguars right now.
This is going to be a long take. Before we get into it, we got to get like 3 quick chat questions. Because Kins, I've had his chat up for like 20 minutes. We got to get to him. He's loyal. He even got a second one in there. For the sake of the fans.
Super chats.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't know we just caught in. We barely got the monetization in under the radar there. Well, that's what the bonus content's for. We're gonna get there. I'm totally with you. We're gonna push that big. Guys, give me a ranking on T, JSN, and Garrett Wilson. Similar ranked players. I believe they all go early to mid third is kind of where they're going. It's kind of that folks in the turn are having a look for them. What do you guys like? Phil, you're going to be up second. So let's go to you for this range of players. Is it an easy choice for you? We can go lightning round take.
Yeah, I won't make it very long. I actually have it very close. I have it. Higgins is 1, and then I have Wilson and then JSN. And I'll give you my reasonings why. Higgins is T's attached to the best quarterback in an offense that is going to have to play defense by playing offense because they have no defense. If you don't know what's going on with the Bengals, do some research. They won't pay anybody. I know Shamar Stewart got paid today. That's great. Good for him. But Trey Hendrickson does not have a contract, and that's a big problem. And it's Joe Burrow. So same thing we talk about with receivers, same thing we talk about, with running backs, path to playing time. I will not put this in the world because I have so much of him with Jamar Chase. But if T. Higgins is suddenly the wide receiver 1, kaboom. Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver 1. And he's the wide receiver 2, and he's the tight end 1. I like Mason Taylor as a dart throw late, but it's the Garrett Wilson show. And I love JSN. I'm not shitting on JSN. If you tell me that Sam Darnold is going to repeat on a new team and a new offense in a new division, what he did last year in Minnesota, I don't know that I buy it. So I still would take JSN in the late third at the 3-4 turn and be very happy with him.
Pick me, by the way.
Yeah, no, if you're asking me to rank these guys, it's Higgins, Garrett Wilson, JSN.
Perfect. All right, now show me QBs because now this is where I want to take my QB. Man, there's some. Why is Goff still here? What? Like I don't really want to pick him.
You got the Jameson Williams stack too.
I know. See, and that's why it's enticing because I was actually hoping to get Justin Fields here, to be honest, because I love the rushing upside. Take them both. You're funny. You know what? Just because Goff has fallen so low and having that stack will be killer some weeks. Sure, I'll take Jared Goff here
on the board.
And to answer your question, for me, 1 and 2 can be interchangeable. You can make a case for 1 and 2, but 3 I think is a comfortable no-brainer to me. But Garrett Wilson 1, JSN 2, and T. Higgins 3. I'm expecting Joe Burrow to be Joe Burrow, which means that he goes off one crazy year, and then the following year things start off a little rocky, and I don't think he'll be a top 3 fantasy quarterback or top 4. I just don't. Maybe top 5 at best.
Anti-Burrow take. Interesting.
But no, I love Burrow. Okay, I love Burrow, but I just don't have him ranked currently as a top 4. I think at best top 5, but he could also slip out of there potentially for fantasy purposes. Not real life, but for fantasy purposes. So with that, it's the same reason why I don't have Jamar Chase as the 101. I just refuse to believe that when a wide receiver has a triple crown winner, that the following year he's going to just suddenly magically do something similar to that again, when Jamar Chase has never finished as wide receiver 1 up until last year. I prefer Amon-Ra. I prefer Jettas over Jamar Chase. I've said this. People hate me for it. Bengal fans curse me out all the time. They think I'm a hater. I'm not. I'm an Eagles fan. I could care less about the Bengals. Okay. But I think Higgins, he's a solid wide receiver 2, and somewhere else he could be a wide receiver 1. Same way that you could look at Devontae Smith. You know, he's kind of got that similar mindset of how you look at him. But no, Garrett Wilson, like Phil was saying, he's the wide receiver 1. He's the wide receiver 2. He's the tight end 1. Dude will get so many targets. It's his show to lose, you know? I mean, like he's just going to win. And I think that he has the best out of those 3. I think him and Jason have the best shot to finish as an inside top 10 wide receiver. And if Justin Fields can just pass the ball a little bit more, Garrett Wilson's going to be just a freaking steal where you get him, I think, over like a Higgins. And I agree. I think at the 3-4 turn, JSN is just a great pick. So that's where I'd rank it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talks.
Hey, I'm in. Anybody in the chat can just give my answer. Everybody already knows Garrett Wilson is like a top 5 wide receiver for me this year. Like he's just actually my guy. After that, I think it's closer for me. I mean, I like both these wide receivers' talent. T for me is the better player on a better offense with possibly a better guaranteed role when healthy. JSN doesn't have the health issue, and I like that they're both 2 wide receiver target funnels. I already know exactly where I'm going with this pick, by the way. It feels so freaking good to take this guy right here. By the way, he's gonna be drafted in like the 10th or 11th by draft time. Just heads up. He's gonna sign with someone who needs him. Let me ask you, if he signed with the 49ers tomorrow, knowing everybody is injured and hurt, and if they're not, they will be, like, come on, man. Keenan Allen on the 49ers would be absolutely ridiculous.
Amari Cooper's still a free agent as well.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I just don't like Amari Cooper.
And there he goes. No, I'm not talking about fantasy purposes. I'm talking about as a Niners fan, because our best player is sitting in the stands in section 12, row 32.
Jeez, round 14, Drake May. Guys, late quarterback is just the way to go, man. Phil, I gotta break this up. I gotta know. We gotta jump into this right away, because Phil, you got like a back-to-back like rants that we need to get on here. But while we're closing this thing up, I'm gonna pause. Let's get our last picks in, and I know exactly what the topics we can end this draft over. Chat, if you got to take while you're chatting up. Give Phil some questions on his beloved Jacksonville Jaguars as this love story that the frenemies continues. Gotta know. And chat, really seriously, if these drafts didn't albeit prove it, I want to know your take. I want to know, is late quarterback just the way to go? Where are we blind? Where are we different? Is the value we're getting in the 4th and 5th good enough that grabbing a top 5 there is worth it? Want to hear it. But I keep saying Brocal because I look at the screen. I know you're not Brocal, but for all intents and purposes, we're drafting for him. What are we going with here? Let's get the last pick in. What do we want to do with it?
Thank you. Well, gosh darn it, freaking Justin Fields got taken from me. Sad.
I know you were gonna go both. Would you double up with anybody else? Would you double up? Do you have any other stacks? Would you like anybody else here?
But I'm so anti to QB in a 1 QB league. It's just it never moves the needle for me. But I could be spicy and just say it. But no, let me look at these guys. Well, the pick there is pretty self-explanatory right now, and I think you know who I'm thinking of.
I think you were thinking of one of these 3 guys, probably DJ Giddens, I think.
Yes. Yes. Of course, yeah.
Knew it.
And you know why from the last mock. I don't need to reiterate myself like a broken record from like the 90s or 80s. But
Chad appreciates it.
RB1 upside if JT gets hurt. Yeah, simple as that.
He's pretty nice. And Duarte, finish it out. Your league mate. It's always fun seeing how these triangles happen because we all draft together. A lot of these guys are in your Discord. Yeah, Philip Lindsay. Can we get Philip Lindsay written in? Oh, yeah. There we go. What a draft board. This one was more interesting. Super, super fun. All right. Lots to talk about in closing. Chat, let me know if we need a quick... We're not breaking down full rosters until we go into the bonus stream right after this. That should be starting at some point here. But we got some things. Questions for the boys while we're here on either of the drafts. Phil is probably going to have to go off on at least a full minute and a half take on his beloved Jacksonville Jags. In late QB, from each of you. First, let's start with the late QB take, because I'll let Phil take it home, because his I don't know where this rant is going, but I'm so in for it. I'm gonna just drink my wine and listen, because everyone who listened to Phil last year knows you couldn't be more right on being off on an offense outside of BTJ, which I don't think you were off of. To be honest, you didn't never mention it once. So you nailed that take as hard as I've ever seen someone nail a take before. Victory lap. Our whole league winners take, by the way, we all won everyone a bunch of money. It felt great. I know everyone on X does that, but we really nailed it. I need a late quarterback take. Phil, you took Allen early. You seemed pretty convinced of it. Talk to me now, knowing who's in the late, because I can see different takes here, but I really want to know honestly, because you were in on Allen, seeing what's happening late. What do we think about it? Are we still in at the value? What do we like?
So it's funny because I was really thinking about JMO there, and that's who I would have taken, because I knew Goff would be there late. It's not best ball, so I'm not always in my redraft. I'm not always looking to stack. You don't have to stack in redraft, and you can have a great successful season and win the league, no problem. In best ball, please stack if you want to do some best ball shows. Me and Kendall have so much best ball, it's unbelievable. But here's what I'm looking for in the 4th round: ceiling. And as much as I like Chuba and I like Lamar, and not Lamar, excuse me, I like Sutton and Smith and Worthy and some of these guys that went behind. That's not the same ceiling as what Josh Allen can give you, right? And it's the same thing that we have conversations with the running back and the skill position guys, right? We just said Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver 1, the tight end 1, the wide receiver 2. Well, Josh Allen is the quarterback 1, and he's the running back 1, right? There's talk about James Cook had 18 rushing touchdowns last season. He had 4 his entire career leading up to that. Touchdown regression is coming for him. Ray Davis is emerging as a 60-40 split. Josh Allen is still the goal line back. So to me, it was either take JMO and then punt it off, or take Allen and give myself ceiling at somebody whose ceiling is the overall QB1 and whose floor is, let's just say respectfully, the QB5. And I don't actually believe that.
Yeah,
I think Josh Allen's floor is the QB3. I think Jaden and Jalen have to not have an outlier season, but Jaden and Jalen have to have a larger output of rushing touchdowns to outscore Allen and Jackson, in my opinion. And everything that we discuss presumes health. So I like, everyone likes their team. You drafted it. I like the way my team looks, knowing that if it's Sunday night football or Monday night football and the Bills are playing, and I'm within 25 to 30 points behind, I have a chance to win. Mm-hmm. If I'm inside 15 points, I should win.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, but to be fair, I look at some of these other teams and I go, man, Purdy in the 13th round, Kyler Murray with rushing upside in the 13th round, Drake May as your last pick for Vince Mapstone's team. Like, I really feel like it's pick your poison. It's either hit the ceiling overall, get yourself a Lamar Jackson, get yourself a Josh Allen, or punt it, because you can get such great value in a 1-quarterback league so late. Whereas if you punt tight end, you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, right? So I think that's where at the onesie positions, it's either go for it or just punt it off, but don't reach. And I'm not knocking anyone's team, but don't grab a middle of the, don't grab quarterback 10 hoping that they're going to finish inside the top 12, because that quarterback 10 could easily be finished as a quarterback 16 or 17. That's just the reality of it.
Okay. Perk agrees with Coach Phil. Well, if you guys don't know this, by the way, I don't actually know if Perk knows this, but Coach Phil is a coach in real life. If anyone doesn't know, Phil is a legitimate D1. I don't think you haven't been called back yet, have you? But you could. There's some struggling programs out there.
Happily retired.
Phil's a D1 soccer coach. Phil's the actual real deal. So just so you know, Coach Phil is legitimately Coach Phil. So definitely some Coach Phil questions. We need a Coach Phil segment of the Discord. That's coming real soon, by the way. That's happening like tonight.
That's the extra point.
Yeah. My good friend Alec Picadelphia. Let me give you a pick three doors. Okay.
Sure.
You get your Allen Daniels Lamar in mid to late 4. Or Knicks or Mahomes or Mayfield, pick your poison, round 9. Or any of the quarterbacks in 13 and 14. What now? It's not this draft. It's just in general, gun to your head. You're going to blind do this to start your draft. It's a keeper league where I just said this is what's happening.
Oh, keeper league.
Given those 3 ranges, you know where I'm going with this question. Where does your mind immediately go to, like Rorschach test, and where do you finish?
Well, I'm not Coach Phil, I'm not an actual coach by any means, I just know a little bit about ball, and I played ball too. The upside swing of a elite quarterback is the same upside swing that you have if you're looking for those elite tight ends. Because you know that if you don't get them, you can punt them. I mean, realistically, you can't. I mean, I got Ingram in the 9th round. I see Mark Andrews go in the 8th. I see Travis Kelce go in the 8th. I mean, these are guys that are quality, as much as, people might be iffy about Kelce this year and Mark Andrews. And respectfully, I can see the argument for it. But with quarterback, if you don't get those elite guys, the fact that you can get someone like Bo Nix in like the 9th round, or Baker Mayfield in the 9th round, knowing that their upside is inside top 10 and borderline even top 5. I mean, I could see Bo Nix or Mayfield be a top 5 quarterback. So you're telling me that I can get the value there. And let's say, hypothetically speaking, let's say I got Ingram in the 8th instead. And if I got either Bo Nix or Baker Mayfield in the 9th, I mean, that's just a scary team overall. You're talking about I have 3 starting running backs that are absolutely terrifying to face against. And if I was going any week, I guarantee you any week, if I had either of those quarterbacks in the 9th round and you look at the other 8 picks that were there, just remove Judkins because he was just there just because I was taking the upside swing of potential, that would be a scary team to play any week. Even if you had like you would have to bank off the hope that one of those elite quarterbacks outperforms that quarterback by a substantial amount, or that one of my star players underperforms. That's kind of how I look at it in a 1 QB league. If you get, and I'll say this, if you get an elite caliber quarterback, the rest of your roster, put your hand over that pick of whatever the elite guy is, and look at the previous rounds. And if those tell you that those, in this case, the previous 3 picks before Jane Daniels, Lamar, or Josh Allen, if those 3 picks tell you right there, oh yeah, this all has extremely high chance of just breaking fantasy altogether, then you already know that you're going to win. If you can't say that with certainty, then you're just like, okay, this is a solid team, but it's not like the league winning upside that I hopefully can get later. Is kind of where I'm going at. That's kind of how I have to look at super flex in 1 QB leagues. If I just blind where I got my QB, so in this case, Jared Goff, and I look at the previous 12 picks, I'm like, yeah, I love my wide receivers. I love my tight end. I love my running back depth. I wouldn't trade it. So I guess to answer your question, if I'm not getting Baker or Nix in the 9th, which would be a great value for me to get them in, I'm happy with getting Jared Goff in the 13th. Realistically, I wanted Fields because he has that rushing upside. And people seem to forget Fields has that upside swing to where he's a late QB that can finish as a top 10 or 12 QB. He can because of his rushing upside. That's literally it. And we've seen it before when he was vaguely healthy, for your Bears, where out of nowhere he just went off like crazy. Second half of the year, it was just like QB4 overall in fantasy points just because he was running the whole damn time. He's basically a certified running back, just minus the touchdown upside that Josh Allen brings, And obviously Josh Allen's a better thrower of the ball. I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah, Josh Allen does throw the heck out of the football. Yeah. I feel like sometimes we forget that. Give that man a wide receiver, and Patrick Mahomes may be in trouble. That's gonna change some things a little bit.
Overall, in 1 QB, I like waiting really late. Or if the value falls to me in the 9th or 10th round, then I'll happily take a Bo Nix or a Baker Mayfield, something.
So you're actually liking the slightly earlier. You're liking the the 9-10. Skip the very, very last tiers. Go with the tier that you still have my guys, but they're going drastically farther down the board. Yeah. This is interesting. I think through the next couple of mocks, chat, not so much about agreeing or disagreeing, more about leveling up your takes and narrowing in, much like how best ball ADP is just stupid efficient halfway through the season where we're still not getting there in redraft. I think this is interesting. This is going to be something at a minimum. The fact that really smart people, I think, can have slightly differing and divergent takes, but we're talking similarly around each other. I think this is one you have to figure out a plan coming into the draft and know where you're comfortable pivoting. If you skip out on the top 3, 4, big 5, are you full punting or are you looking for value? If you're full punting, when do you take value and what are the names in what round, right? You have to know when falling Mahomes is too falling, right? I ended up taking him here as a bit of an experiment, just to see how it felt and looked in this or that fashion. So interesting. I don't want to go too ad nauseum because the best way to do this is to just do it again and again and see what we like and dislike. But I think Val takes chat clearly agree. Vince back in chat. I love it. The kiddos must be asleep. Vince, what time is it for you, by the way? Like, because you're over in Australia, aren't you? I have to know. I feel like you're like having breakfast right now or something. I'm not quite sure, but I think it makes good sense. So, hey guys, that was a draft. It was crazy. Sorry for the production, the pauses, but hopefully we had enough time to give some more succinct takes, give some people a chance to look at the board, think about the board, definitely ask some good questions. I had a good time. It was good having the gang back. Phil, how's it feel being back on cam, back on stream?
Man. Good. It's been a minute. You know how summer goes, man. You got all sorts of stuff going on, and we're hammering away on best ball and just life. So yeah, it's been a bit, but it's good, and missed you guys. I'm excited for. Be honest, man. I'm really excited for the next couple of weeks because and not because of camp, right? Because you know the ADPs are gonna skyrocket and news is gonna, but it just starts to get like we're in the home stretch. We're in the last lap of the race. Like football's not that far away now. So it is a good time. I'll say this because as I'm listening to you guys talk about some stuff, I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking about a few things here. I think it's really important to do as many mocks as you can and to get in your best ball drafts as you can. And here's my reasoning why. If you were to take players, and I have to do this sometimes. And Victorious is in he's in one league for sure. I think 2 leagues with me. But at the 12, you kind of got to take some players early. If you were to take guys early, around early, throw the ADP out the window, but you were to look back at the end of the draft without seeing the actual numbers of where you drafted a guy relative to their ADP, and you got all the players you wanted to complete a stack or to get a positional advantage, would you still be happy? And that's the question I ask myself when I do all these summer and best ball drafts is, okay, well, the ADP says I could play the ADP game, but Jaden Higgins is the perfect example. Because Jaden Higgins at the beginning of summer was going in the 12th round. Now he's going in the 8th round. I've seen him going in the 7th round. And it's getting a little out of hand. But if you are convinced that he's going to be the wide receiver 2 in Houston, and Nico misses time, and you grab him in the 8th round, knowing that you could have got him in the 9th or 10th, and you get CJ, are you happy? Because I would be. So to me, it's like, what's your pivot plan? All right, Alec, you were looking at Fields. Fields didn't get back to you. You took Giddens, fine, but like there was other players you could have taken if you needed a second quarterback there. So I think you just have to look at like, what does my optimal roster construction look like, and then reverse engineer it. And that's a good way to decide if you're happy with your draft or not.
And that was the extra point by Phil. He couldn't do Thursday, so he did the entire level up your game by 1% in one take. That's impressive. Well done. I know. Where's our boy Perk? I know Perk's happy. Perk loved catching you on Wednesday and Thursday. So
we'll be back. We'll be back this fall, man.
When we get some production, folks, I want to be able to say clip that, but I'm talking to literal no one. But at some point, I'll be talking to someone back there. We'll get there. Good times. But competitive draft. Guys, we're a little over on time. Not that YouTube loves us by the length of our videos, but I know the crowd does. I would take our drafting community over the field in any draft. Very competitive. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys find it? Last question before we wrap things up. I'll go last. What do you guys think about the benefit to guys give up a lot of time on their Friday for this, or they really look for them. I think the true degens are like, look, I got stuff going on. We've had guys in chat that are like, I'm on a date, but I want to get this draft in. How much does it help versus just, no free ads, right? But like, look, I use the draft wizard on Fantasy Pros. Love those guys, right? Love what they do. Love the tech that they bring to our sport. But there's a difference between drafting on the draft wizard and doing, sleeper stuff and drafting with real hardcore, like try hard every day. What do you guys learn from the earlier season hardcore drafting? Do you think it helps, and what types of leagues and what situations do you think it helps the most, if at all?
Go ahead, Alec.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I think it 100% helps. I'm the guy who's crazy and starting back in June, and by the time that my drafts roll around in August, that I would have done 300, 400, 500 mocks. I mean, to me, I think the more mocks you do, the more you theory craft different ideas, different draft positions. You eventually come up with your own ranking list. Now, you could use other people's if you trust them. I'm a firm believer that if you're willing to do so much work, you should be able to make your own list and be able to stick true with who you guys are and ignore ADP. Completely ignore it in the sense that, okay, this guy, it seems like he's good value here according to this app I use, but in reality, you can win leagues without needing the help of an app. You truly just got to believe in your own skill set and not fold under pressure kind of thing. So I think the earlier you start definitely gives an advantage. The only exception to that rule is if you're talking purely to a redrafter who just starts doing it like the second week of August, because there are some leagues that are so relaxed, or maybe they're like free leagues where they're not as extremely competitive, where you can play the ADP game and you can win your leagues. Yeah. I mean, that happens. So outside of those scenarios, I do think if you're playing Dynasty, or if you're playing Best Ball, or if you're playing in a competitive league that is redraft or keeper or a combination like how my league is, the whole amalgamation of things, which is so super fun. The more mocks you do, the more you talk to the right people that you can bounce ideas and have a conversation like the three of us are. We're having these really insightful conversations about different positions, how we look at them, all that in between. Someone's going to watch this afterwards and be like, yeah, no, that's a great point. I'm going to write that down, or I'm going to star that player for my draft. So that way I remember him, kind of thing. We've all done it. So earlier is better. The more you do it, even better. And doing it with people that are both random and people who are very savvy, I think is great, because as we know in our actual draft, there are players that we're like, why did they go so early? How did this guy fall to me? And it happens every single year. So you kind of want to do both. You want a mixture of competitive, but also random, because then it gives you that closer to how your drafters think. Knowing your leagues are very important. But if you don't, and you're fresh into something, do a combination of both. Hit up any of us. We love mocking. We love sharing insightful knowledge. So more is better, I think, in like 99% of the cases. And the only time it's not is when it's clearly redraft and you're starting your mocks literally second week of August.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. I think the thing that I will take from what you just said and kind of roll it into my point is the time of the year matters. I do a lot of best ball drafts in May and June because the value is so good. Players' values are so cheap. You can call your shots on guys, the Jarquez Hunters of the world, the Blake Corums of the world. Hey, who's going to be the Rams number 2? Take them both. It's best ball. No one gives a shit, right? But I also think you can see when you start that early, who's a mover, who's a faller. And I'm not talking about, Judkins getting arrested and like let's just say for the sake of this conversation that Judkins gets an 8-game suspension and all of a sudden that his draft stock just completely plummets. But can you go and see the Jaden Higginses of the world who are shooting up draft boards? Dylan Sampson, like I said, has moved up 36 spots in some of the drafts that I'm doing right now, because again, you might have the Browns RB1, but I think you also have to have the always account for variable change mentality. What happens if somebody decides to take Lamar Jackson at the 1-2 turn and all of a sudden BTJ is there and you weren't planning on having BTJ, Not that you would have passed on him anyway, but boom, does that change what you were doing in your build because you were going to start with Drake London, right? Now you're going, oh, I can get BTJ, I can pivot this. So there's a lot of different things you can do when you see real people. That's the biggest take. Draft with real people. Don't draft against the computer. The computer will always do the ADP game. So draft against real people. See what happens when somebody decides to call their shot on Caleb Johnson in the 3rd round, right? Like that's extreme, but that's the point I want to make, is that somebody in your league, especially your home league, Patrick Mahomes is really good at football. I should take him in the 1st round. Please take Patrick Mahomes in the 1st round so that I can get whoever you just passed on. Thank you so much.
Home league.
Yep, the home leagues are the best ones. But I do think you want to, what I look at the most, because Alec, I'm like you. I don't do a ton of redraft. I'm mostly a dynasty player, and then I hammer best ball. Those are the 2 formats I enjoy the most. Kendall knows this. I do a ton of dynasty. My show is mostly about dynasty. But I do enjoy the redraft mentality. And to be fair, I think what I'm looking at the most is the risers. Where is their falling value? And what is my pivot plan? Right? Okay, I built my team with Jameson Williams and with David Montgomery. I know I need to get Goff. Shit, Goff just got sniped 3 picks early. Great, I took Jaden Higgins. Now I can fall back an extra round. I'll grab another running back or maybe a receiver here because I know CJ Stroud will be there for me here in the 12th round instead of taking Goff in the 10th round. Now I'm talking about best ball, but that's my point, right? Is how can you find a way to pivot when somebody snipes you or when somebody does something completely out of left field? And the last piece I'll say is just this quickly, and then kick it to you, Kendall. Just we do it. Please go back if you haven't seen it. Go back and watch our league winners show from last year, because we said do not draft CJ Stroud. Excuse me, watch our do not draft show, not our league winners show. Watch our do not draft. We said do not draft CJ Stroud and do not draft Sam Laporta. Kendall, you'll remember this. There were people in the chat that literally were like, "You guys are crazy." There was one guy that was like talking so much shit in the draft, and what we said was, do not draft them at their ADP, and we were spot on, because CJ Stroud had an awful season and Laporta didn't come anywhere close to the tight end 1 position. So look at your build, look at where you believe. If you're going to take Brock Bowers in the 2nd round, fine, but he's got to finish as the tight end 1. He has to, or you have just passed on. Just look at the names around him, right? And I think that's the key. Is if you're gonna have a conviction somewhere, you gotta be pretty right about it, and then have a pivot plan. So, Kendall, to you, my son.
Yeah, I'll take it home real quick. So the biggest there's a lot of places I could go with this, right? I'm a nerd for draft theory, but the biggest thing I think is effective ADP. There are tiers, there's ranges of players, but it ultimately comes down to, when you're on the clock, what is the experience like? What do you do? How do you make your pick? You look at ranges of players, you look at your build, you make a call. What I find typically happens is nobody that really enjoys fantasy and feels they're sharp is going to take a non-spicy or feel-good or trendy pick. They're just not going to do the unfun pick. There's some leagues where you know who's going to do it, and you know exactly who's going to do it. And there's some leagues where it's too competitive and the gross pick is just too value, right? You play high stakes poker enough, you're going to fold and play just hands that are boring or good. You're going to do what you have to do because it's too high stakes. I find that when you look at ADP ranges, it's all about who are the guys we as a community talk about, get airtime and and those are the only people that are in consideration in the next 4 to 5 picks. So that's the real ADP game for me, is looking at a range of 20 names and saying there's only 5 names in these 20 names that are going to go next. And after those 5 names, here's the next 5 names out of the next 20. And that's how it goes. So for me, I learned a lot with the Josh Downs pick, right? I have to reach 20 places above ADP to get him. I got sniped on him, and I don't think it was because they just wanted to mess with me. Sure, that's probably in there, and I don't blame him for it. But legitimately, was anybody ripping him for making a bad pick? Did anybody think it was a bad pick despite reaching 20 picks, which I was prepared to do next? No, and that's not a reach. That's just effective ADP and sharper drafts, because the ADP game, whatever ADP is set earlier in the season, is proliferated by auto drafts and mock drafts with a lot of autos, and it just doesn't get efficient. Like say Underdog, sponsor, friend of the show, Underdog. And so I think, that's the big lesson for me, as I understand what ranges are effective ADP and what are just, dude, this guy's going to go 5 rounds later. He's not even in consideration. He's only going to get taken when he's too much of a value. The gross pick that's gross at ADP in round X, but 2 rounds later, it's like, well, come on, I kind of have to, right? Najee wasn't too dissimilar, to be honest, right? In this particular mock. So I don't know. For me, that's the big thing. Effective ADP, real picks versus.
Can I just add one thing really quickly?
Please.
And not to have the last word, but just you can certainly close the show. I just think this is really important because I'm still have the board up. Keon Coleman at the 10-6, right? At the 10th round, and Josh Palmer at the 11th. To me, that's a perfect example of ambiguous, like what you're saying, right? Like you're talking about reaching for downs 20 picks early. Well, if I'm someone who's targeting Keon Coleman, is Keon Coleman really the wide receiver 2 for Buffalo? Is he? I mean, on the depth chart, he is. On paper, he is. But Josh Palmer's competent. We saw Josh Palmer do some interesting things last year with the Chargers for a couple weeks. He had a decent spell. Like, those are the kinds of places, like Hollywood Brown. If Rashee Rice gets suspended, Hollywood Brown could be an interesting start to the season in a redraft. Like, so there's certain players that I feel like you can go ahead and just, yeah, it's gross at times, but like go grab a guy that could end up being in a more without injury, because we always draft based off of health. Otherwise, nobody would ever draft Christian McCaffrey, right? But like, you have to draft and presume that everyone is going to be healthy and that the ceiling is their actual projected outcome. So I think that's where you can get a little bit, not call your shot, but like, hey, it's fine if you're going to grab a guy around, have your pivot plan. So, yeah.
I like it. Hey, it's been real, guys. It's been fun. It always is fun. Let's get rid of this board. Let's do random camera. I don't really know how to swap people. Oh, that's how we do it? Okay, yeah, I'm learning production as we go. I didn't know that was a thing. I know I could swap camera A, B, and C with each other with a click. Super cool. Again, I'm not Classic Mike. Everyone give Classic a little credit because I'm terrible with production, and he knows what he's doing. Phil, is anyone hanging out for my for post stream, or you guys got to head out?
I have to head out.
Well, with that in mind, Phil, I don't know why this always comes to my attention. Anybody who loves the first we feast, the hot ones, I'd like camera A, camera B. Tell the people what you got going on in your life. Phil, it's been a minute. For those that are new or newer, what do we have in store for you? Where to check you out if they like the way you think? Where should they hit you up and find you?
Yeah, jump on over to The Extra Point. You can find me on YouTube on The Extra Point. I'm on Wednesdays, and I was on Thursdays, but I know, Kendall, you and I have been talking about maybe shifting that, since it's just bouncing right up to the edge of Thursday night football. But Wednesday is my main show. The Extra Point covers all things Dynasty. We will be talking values, in-season trades. What do I do if I'm in a rebuild? What do I do if I think I have a chance to win? Who should I be targeting? Kendall and I are notorious traders, so we will always have a couple of trades that we like, a couple of trades that we will break down in terms of, I hate when people say, oh, did I win the trade? No, you didn't win the trade. If a trade makes your team better, you won the trade. Do not go and keep trade cut and say, but I needed 300 more points to make this trade even. Bullshit. If the trade made your team better, you won the trade.
I've made it so many days without a KTC rant.
It's terrible. So go and check out the show. And then you can also find me, of course, with Get Right Fantasy on Friday nights as we break down all of the games on the main slate. We will give you our takes, starts, sits, and best plays of the week. And that's where you can find me.
Love it. And if anybody's a merchandiser, has a t-shirt company, can we get some notorious traders like TRAITOI? Come on, man. That's too good, dude. That's too good right there. We need some notorious traders shirts. I'm super in. Kind of love it. Alec Picadelphia, if y'all in his Discord, aka Terry Tate. Woo.
Yep.
Camera A, camera B, camera C. All the
camera C,
cameras,
camera D. Whoa, camera D.
Hey, there we go. Cats and dogs. Tell the folks where to find you, what you have going on in your fantasy life.
All right. So you can find this bird lover over here. You can find me obviously on Sleeper as Picadelphia. You can find me also on whether it's for football related on Discord. You can find me also on X, though I don't really use that too much. That's more so if you want to message me privately about something in particular. Maybe you want to do like a collaboration or something, then you can message me there just as much as Sleeper and the other place. But that one's more of like one-on-one kind of thing. And then Twitch is only for purely if you want to watch certain podcasts that I may be doing, which are only specifically for like my leagues or for my drafts. So you can get a live draft and see what my home leagues are like, or my competitive leagues are like, or occasionally when I do work on the videos of how to make people better commissioners. That's something that I think doesn't get talked about nearly enough. We have so many videos about lists or do's and don'ts, winner this, winner that, or loser of the year, blah, blah, blah. Like, we do all those things normally as people in this community, but I don't see enough talks about how to make leagues more exciting, league punishments, or how to be a better commissioner. I was ranked at, and I'm not saying this to glow, far from it.
No, I called this out. I mean, you're Scott's pick for like best commissioner of the year. So for fellow league runners who enjoy league running, you're kind of a resource for that.
Yeah, no, and I'm flattered that he did that. I was a finalist on FFU for commissioner of the year, and this year I'm going for number 1. It's going to happen. There's no ands, if, or buts. Now that I know about it, it wasn't just sprung on me last second. But yes, I dedicate myself to the niche. I dedicate myself to those kinds of also topics I think deserve a spotlight, deserve an hour-long presentation. I think they don't get enough love, so you can find me on all those things. And if you're a gamer, which is such an odd thing to say to your fans, folk me, but hey, if you're a gamer, you can easily catch me on Steam or the good old Xbox, if I find time in my busy life, which is little time to do any of those things. But you can find me on there too as Terry Day Whoop, that's also my Discord. So yeah, you can find me all there, and it is a pleasure to be on here. I hope to be on the show again or work with Phil here, Coach Phil, or Kendall, or any of you guys out there. I know Vincent's there, and I think you're a great guy over there in Australia. That's wild, man. Props to you, by the way.
On the mate.
And of course, all you guys, ball. All right. So that's all I gotta say. Go Birds, baby. Woo!
Go Birds. Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
All right, y'all. It's been real. It's been a good show. Links to everything. I think description might be messed up for this one, but we'll figure it out later on. We're not going to let perfect be the enemy of just good, solid ball. So with that being said, let's play some music. If you guys don't know, just check out any of the YouTube channels. Mine, Phil's, the main one, I Get Right. I have a bonus stream coming right after this. We're going to pour another glass of wine, and we are going to break down every roster that anyone that sticks around for wants, or user-submitted ones. So stay tuned for bonus content. There is additional stream, though. This will be subs and members only going forward, but a little freebie this time. And if you don't know where to go, pop into our Discord. Someone will help you find me live in a minute. And I'm going to go until I pass out, probably live on stream, because it is late, but we're going to keep going. With that being said, thanks for joining. Thanks for drafting. Let's listen to some tunes.
Wanted to white fantasy is the play. Marking nothing but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided.